do it! Get a grip! This stupid video I just showed you! I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show! You donkey! You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State, it's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. It is Wednesday of USC week. Notre Dame's got everything in the world to play for. The anxiety's high. The anxiety's ramping up. Everybody's rooting against you. It's truly Notre Dame versus everybody. Even when Michigan said it was Michigan versus everybody, it really wasn't. They are just a spoke in the conference wheel when it comes down to it. They're eating at the same table as all those other people, whether they wanted to admit it or not. This week, this time, this situation is genuinely and truly Notre Dame against everybody. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Here's the other thing. For those of us that are younger, on the younger age of the scale here, I'm including myself there at 40, where you're too young to remember us winning anything and what this all feels like. Whatever this feeling is right now that you have as a Notre Dame fan, whatever you're feeling inside you, that anxiety, that anxious anticipation, all of that stuff, that Irish pride, whatever it is that you're feeling, this is what it used to be like almost all the time when Notre Dame was competing for things all the time. And I want to mention that. I think that's important. Whatever this feeling is, to that feeling of every single thing you do matters and it moves the needle nationally, that's what it used to be like here all the time. All the time. Okay, every season used to be like that to end the year. That you used to what happened in Notre Dame's game would reverberate through the entire country, the entire landscape. This is what it should be like all the time, folks. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Pat, I cannot possibly disagree with you more. 100% disagreement with my main man, Pat. Let's get into it. And I got something I got to go over. I need you guys to do some research. If you're younger, do some research for me. This feel is no different than at the start of the season. It's just at the end of the season. It's 100% completely different than that. Because if you win this game, you accomplish all your goals. If it's at the beginning of the season, you have all season to go to accomplish your goals. It's completely different. It's night and day. This is the finish line. This is the end, not the beginning. It's completely different. The beginning is all what if and maybe and could you and what is it going to be like? You're at the finish line now. It's totally different. This is it. This is it. You're at the finish line. So to me, Pat, that's how I'm looking at it. It's completely different. You're at the finish line. One more win and you punch your ticket. The beginning of the year, it's what are you going to do for 12 games to punch your ticket? You don't know if you're good or not, or if you're a part of anything. No, you don't. You don't accomplish your goals. I argue this in the beginning. I don't know what you're talking about. You win this game, you punch your ticket to the playoff, which is the number one goal of the year, and getting a home game, which was the main priority, right? Now you're playing semantics. Your goal is a title, right? And what do you got to do to ensure that? First things first, lock up a playoff game, hopefully a home game. That's a semantics game you're playing. Obviously, that's right, but you got to check off things on the way. You don't just go from nothing to the title. There's boxes to check on the way. Playing good enough in the regular season to check the playoff box is one of them. Playing well enough in the regular season to get a home game is the second box. That's where you're at. That's where you're at. Listen, there is no elite team head and shoulders. This is where I agree with Pat. There is no team head and shoulders above everybody. There is no team here that you're like, oh my gosh, they're head and shoulders better than everybody else. They don't have a weakness. They're crushing people, whatever. They've never had a down game this year where they struggled or looked vulnerable. There isn't that. If you catch a heater and you bring good defense and you get in this field, anybody, you could go on a run. You catch a good bracket, oh, you could go on a run. You guys, it's not far-fetched. But You got to beat stupid USC first. And I'm getting a little anxious. With how many plans are being made about the playoff. And I understand that this is not just a Notre Dame thing. That I understand. Callers, I'm going to get to you. There's a bunch of you. I'm going to get to you. Listen. This is an important week, you guys. This is an important week. I have anxiety with all of the plans being made for the playoff before you punch your ticket. And I totally, completely understand the absolute logistics of why people in the program have to plan for the playoff ahead. And like when I talk to my people that work on campus and learning all the stuff they're planning because they have to get ahead of it and plan for resources and people and things. But it's messing with me. It would be the most Notre Dame-iest thing in the last 30 years of my life to be in this moment. And then you get this close to being able to see the snowflakes, the sugar plums in John's ears and Santa Claus and Rudolph flying. I want Rudolph in my dreams. Rudolph's flying around the stadium and our offensive line coach Rudolph's riding Rudolph around and guiding Santa Claus around and all this stuff. And I have a little anxiety with everybody getting this far ahead of it. Conundrum says no confidence. No, I have a lot of confidence. There is 0% chance Notre Dame's defense does not come prepared for this moment fully. I'm going to repeat that. There is a 0% chance this defense does not come prepared to play winning football in this moment. That ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. This defense is playing too good. They're too confident. They're too locked in. It's not going to happen. I never know. I still don't know what I'm going to get out of Notre Dame's offense week to week. I'm telling you this right now, that defense is not going to just decide now's not the time to show up and do what they do. They're going to show up and do what they do. That has nothing to do with not having confidence. I just think it's just bad juju, man. It's just bad football juju. But everybody, I understand it though. People got to plan for things. You got to make your potential travel plans, whatever. There's a lot going on. Jack Does Sports says ND's trending up in November. That's the thing, man. You want to talk about maybe like some indicators where things are going different? A couple super chats. We'll get into the calls. Notre Dame truly is trending up. Like you can feel it and you can see it. There have been some Novembers. Kelly had some Novembers till he figured it out later, where Notre Dame was like running out of gas and you could feel it, right? Like they would get into November and they're just dragging ass. A lot of the guys couldn't even keep up weight. You were running you were running on fumes and everybody could see it and feel it. And you ended up catching a loss or two or barely getting by or whatever. That is not what's happening. That is not what's happening. They are trending up. They are getting stronger. They are getting stronger. And so it's all on the line here. It's all on the Ohio podcast. I need this win Saturday like I need oxygen. Imagine a scenario where Ryan Day loses to a team like this. Like, come on. KVA's out. I mean, I figured that. I figured he was out just based on how that they were talking about it. No surgery. I did read that. So yeah, violence. I need a lot of violence. And I also want Freeman too. This is a big deal to me. I want Freeman to open up this game the same way he opened up A&M. Maybe you guys don't care about that. Maybe you don't value it the same way I do. The way he fired up everybody and got all worked up and everything in the tunnel to lead us out against A&M. I want that again here. It's the perfect Irish bow to tie on the season. And maybe I'm telling you, maybe some people don't value that. And maybe it's just like, whatever the coach is pumping. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's only what the players do. I value this coach's stuff. And I want to tie a bow on this with him getting that pumped up on the front end and on the back end. I need it and I want it. And I need these guys to play good football. As for everybody talking against Notre Dame, whether it be ESPN people or people on Twitter, I talk all the time about media that never mentions Notre Dame at all. Now that their favorite SEC team has 3 losses, now they're all mad at Notre Dame. Like, it's amazing. The people that come out of the woodwork that never have a word to say about Notre Dame any other time, good or bad. Now that their team's got 3 losses, they come out of the woodwork. Notre Dame, ban them from the playoff. Here's the thing, you guys. It doesn't matter. Yes, it's annoying when you're me and you keep seeing these people with bad Notre Dame takes you have to combat every day on Twitter. It's annoying, but it doesn't matter. Like, you're where you're at, and if you win, it could only theoretically get better if you jump Penn State by not needing to go to overtime and beating this team by 3. If you're able to do it more convincingly, there's a strong argument Notre Dame could be ahead of them, and a lot of people are making the argument Notre Dame should already be ahead of them. And then I don't know what that does. Somebody with a big brain tell me, if you do that, then we move to this thing, and then you're this rank, but then you're that seed, and then this team will lose, and they'll come and play Notre Dame. I'm not smart enough to figure it out on the charts. It's like, it's way bigger than the March Madness bracket. At least that bracket is what it is. I got rankings, but then you're like, look at how high we are in the rank. Just kidding. On the seeding, we're lower. And then it changes who we play. Ain't nobody got time for that. Just tell Johnny Boy who we play. And you better win. Conundrum saying the Irish are a playoff lock. This is one of the questions of the day. Irish are a playoff lock. Let me see this. Irish are a playoff lock after last night's CFP rankings. Losing the Irish are 12th. I've been playing around with that idea. People have brought it up to me. Like, I wrote an article about it asking if it's likely or possible or whatever. I don't know, but I don't want to find out. That's my answer. I don't know, and I don't want to find out. I don't know, and I don't want to find out. Okay? Number one is you're playing with fire when... some years, Notre Dame with 2 losses, I think it's like there's a really good argument they should be in. Northern Illinois and USC losses, and that kind of hurts your argument. But if you're looking at the other teams down there with 3 losses or whatever, and a Notre Dame with 2 and the brand value that has, I don't know. What about the idea that you get penalized worse for a late loss than you do an earlier loss? How does that affect Notre Dame then? If you have a late loss like that, I don't know. So, and the other thing is, even if that happened, you're giving up the home game. You're giving up the home game. And so that's a big part of Notre Dame's playoff plan is to start it out at home in as friendly of a scenario as you could. But it's a bad look. Dude, you're not losing to Oregon and Texas here if you have 2 losses this year. It's 28-point favorites at home against Northern, and you couldn't take care of business, and it's 5-loss USC. Get serious about your life. I'm not going to be sitting here arguing on Notre Dame's behalf. If you don't take advantage of this week's schedule, not our fault, but the helmets on the schedule didn't play as good, not our fault. Miami backed out of our game, not our fault. I'm telling you. I got USC. I planned on having Miami. I got Texas A&M on the schedule. I got Florida State on the schedule, and it's not my fault those teams are not good at football right now. It's not my fault those teams are not good at football right now. But when you catch a schedule break like this, if you lose 2 games, you can't make an argument. If you get in, you're lucky, and you're going to have a tough round 1 game, but you deserved it. So, but I ain't counting on that. It messes up the plan, man. If Notre Dame's going to make a real run, I think it starts with that home game. And everybody keeps writing violence. My Notre Dame heart is warmed by the physicality with which this team goes about its business. It's a joy to see. It's the kind of football that you've been begging Notre Dame to play since your dad taught you about Notre Dame football. Let's be honest. Specifically on defense, these guys play fast. They play physical. They don't let up. They fly downhill. There's no hesitation. It's all confidence. They all trust each other. I'm telling you guys, it's a joy to see. It's a real joy to see. These guys hit, and they hit to do damage, and they hit to let you know that they're going to come in and hit you again. And it isn't just a couple guys. It's a full mentality and a full attitude with this group. I don't see any scenario these guys no-show in LA. I don't see it. The offense could make $1 million. I don't know. I'm just saying I don't see a scenario where you're going, man, Notre Dame's defense really let us down in the last game of the year. I don't see it. They're not wired that way. Those guys are not wired that way. They're not having a letdown in LA. It ain't happening. It's just not. Yeah. 17 hands to the face calls, though. Later, though. That's the other thing. I'm glad you're bringing this up. Under no circumstances, I'm pulling a Jimmy Johnson out. You can't go to South Bend and leave the game in the ref's hands. That's what he used to tell his Miami guys. You can't even have a game close enough that a bad call makes you lose it. You need to build in a margin to where they can't screw you. That's what I'm saying about this game. You think I trust Big Ten refs hanging 10, surfing out in Hollywood, coming in there? They would love nothing else but to screw Notre Dame out of this. You got to win and beat these guys by enough that it ain't no home cooking, California dreaming BS from these refs are going to ruin it for you. You got to build a margin. You got to build a margin so that nothing like that could even affect you. Man, there's a lot on the line. $30 from the 80s guy. I wanted to wish all the Always Irish community a very happy Thanksgiving. And thank you, John, for all that you do. And don't worry, we're going to win this weekend. That is a really, really nice message from the 80s guy. I am thankful for this community. I love doing this with you guys, whether it's good or bad or in the middle. I love doing this. I love the people I've met. The community we're building is awesome, man. Everybody here is so great. All the tailgates, getting to meet everybody, put faces to the names. Everybody's awesome. I love doing this, man. It's an honor to be able to be the voice to you guys and doing all this. I love it. Eric with the $10 holler, my lawyer in Michigan. ND needs to savor the moment and game. It's been since 88 that I feel this way. You want to talk about 88? There's a lot of people comparing Notre Dame's defense and some of the numbers and what they've done in that season to 88. The Neppers. I really like how Reese Davis ended the show last night with that SC upsetting us. He's a complete D-bag. It's ESPN, man. I don't know what else to say. I can't wait for another Saturday where all the Notre Dame people mindlessly like zombies get out of bed, make a coffee, and then immediately turn on anti-Notre Dame propaganda and watch it, give them ratings for 3 hours, and then go on Twitter and complain about what they said. It's one of the things that makes the least sense about this entire fan base is to watch an anti-Notre Dame propaganda machine on purpose for 3 hours, then go on social media and complain that it's an anti-Notre Dame propaganda machine. I get frustrated every single week with the Notre Dame fans that do that, especially when if you just turn it on Fox, you could watch Brady Quinn and not have these problems. You could support one of our people and not have it be anti-Notre Dame propaganda. I don't understand. This is not 2004 game day. Lee Corso's alive. Like this, they're neutral because it was before all those contracts. No! Wake up, Notre Dame people. Son of a buck. Josh Pate picked them to beat as well. Good for Josh Pate, man. Oh, Pate State, you got it. He does a good job, but what's going to move ratings other than all of America wants Notre Dame to lose, and then you say they're going to lose. Whatever, man. Couple more things, and we'll go to the phones. The Chalice of Malice is back. It has been since week 2. They earn the Chalice of Malice. It's for when you're winning. It's when things are good and you're feeling good, man, and you drink out of the gold cup. It's the Chalice of Malice, but you got to be doing the right things. So we added after game 1. That lasted 6 days, and then you blew it, and you have not had, in my opinion, you have not warranted the Chalice of Malice since then. Now you're back to this moment. And now you have earned this. Okay. So you're getting the Chalice of Malice, and the big game chain is hanging over the vintage lamp here that came from some old dead guy's yard in Evanston, Illinois, along the lakefront. Thanks, buddy. The big game chain is there. And so it has been since week 2, you guys. So we added in after A&M, and now we have this. And so it's the week. I don't think the Chalice is jinxed. We're about to find out. No, the Chalice is. I think the chalice is neutral. I just need Notre Dame to do the right things. Okay. I need Notre Dame to do the right things. All right. One thing I need to go over briefly, and then we'll go to the calls. Okay. I don't know if anybody here is an active Notre Dame student. I don't know how much of that listenership I have. Maybe I think I skew a little older than that age group. I don't know. I know I have some grad student here or there. I would like to know if anybody is a Notre Dame student right now. And here's what I'm bringing up. A couple people messaged me, forwarded me some emails internally at Notre Dame with big names. The email chain, you can see the names, big names that we would all know high up at Notre Dame. This was yesterday evening. Apparently, the student tickets are not all going to be honored for the playoff game. Okay. So your student ticket thing that gives you a ticket to get into every home game or whatever is no longer valid. And it doesn't apply. Okay, this is according to the emails I got sent of what Notre Dame's communicating with the students about how this would work. Again, I'm uncomfortable talking about this before it, but it's coming up because people need to make their plans. I am understanding, I'm getting these emails of Notre Dame students saying, John, maybe this is some right up your alley to talk about. We're not happy. Apparently, and I cannot verify this, I'm not there, and the people I've asked have not gotten back to me. I cannot verify this. If I'm misinterpreting what I read, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to do that. Apparently, they need to apply to get into a lottery. So they need to pay more money, get in a lottery to get student tickets, and even then, all the students that want to go are not assured they're going to get tickets if there's a home game. So again, the basic ticket package they bought for the regular season games is gone. And if you want to even be in it for this, you need to pay some money to get in a lottery, and not all the students who are in it are guaranteed to win it and be able to even pay more to get these tickets. Also, here's what you need to consider. You need to consider the travel. This is happening with the Christmas break, and they're adjusting the calendar. They're adjusting the calendar to accommodate the football because it could be a Friday or Saturday, right? And so you're doing that. But what these students are saying is, we don't live around here. Notre Dame students, most of them don't live in South Bend. They all need to make travel plans to either go home for the holidays or stay there for the game. And if you don't know if you're going to the game or not, because you don't know if you're going to get tickets or not, there's no way for you to properly plan your travel to get wherever in the world the Notre Dame fans are from or the students are from. So anyways, I'm just throwing that out there I can't verify it, but I've had multiple people send me internal emails sent to very important people on behalf of the students saying, this ain't right. You can't, come on, man. And my take would be, man, these students, just all you got to pay to go to Notre Dame and everything, and sitting there through all these boring home games and everything, like, just let the kids go to the game if they want to go to the game. You do not need more money if you're Notre Dame. You don't need to nickel or dime your own student section. You do not need to nickel and dime your own student section. Let those kids go to the ball game, okay? You don't need to make them pay more and do all this. You don't need any more money. It's going to be fine. If you make a home playoff game, money is not going to be a problem. Anyways, I cannot verify. Maybe I misread the email threads. I was getting high-level Notre Dame names on this email thread saying you need to rethink what you're about to do because it ain't fair to these students. So I think you should just let the kids go if they want to go. Anybody that's going to Christmas and can't do that because of family or whatever, you should let Notre Dame know. Let Notre Dame know whether you're going to use your student ticket or not. And if you're not, then you can resell those tickets or do something else with them. So I don't know. So whatever. I don't have inside information on that. I'm just asking. My understanding, it's not the university, but the CFP. The schools don't control the tickets. CFP does. So for pricing, right? But if it's your stadium, you could let the students in. That's your decision, right? I don't know. Whatever. Again, I'm very uncomfortable talking about any of this before this happens. So you guys are saying, I don't understand what the point is. Cotter, you're right, but they set the pricing for the game, so that means you can't let your students in there, or what? I don't get it. Already in the parent lottery for 4 tickets, hotel rooms booked that weekend. 160 is the most expensive ticket. 160. That's cheaper than half the regular no-name home games you gotta pay for. The CFP is selling the tickets, not Notre Dame. I still don't understand what that has with Notre Dame not letting all of their students that want to go for free. Why can't they decide that? I don't understand. You don't have to buy those tickets. Just let the students be in the student section. So I don't know. Whatever, man. But I just thought I'd mention that. If there's some people not happy, maybe we'll hear more about this. Maybe we won't. And again, I'm not acting like I'm an expert. But the other argument was like, come on, man. Like, let the students in and be loud for a playoff game. I don't know. Whatever. There's an allotment of tickets for students according to the CFP. So maybe you're saying there's an allotment for students that's smaller than what the student section would be. I understand they have to pay for regular season games. I totally understand that. I remember the old days where you used to get that like little booklet with your one ticket stub for each home game. It was like a little booklet almost with all of them together, and they would tear them off. And when I was in high school, you would have somebody go in there that's a student, go to the top, put that thing in a Ziploc bag with a rock, drop it off the top of the stadium. Somebody else would grab the bag and go in and use it again and then go in. And then after a while, they started ripping them. But for a while, you just showed it and you could do it that way. And you weren't taking up anybody's seat because everybody stood the whole time in student section anyways. So I don't know. Knock on wood. I ain't worrying about any of this stuff. I ain't worrying about any of this stuff till we get to this game. And I got an answer for this. Then we're going to the calls. I got an answer for this. John Stoll from ND, not a good steward. You know, I've addressed this before multiple times, J. Carr. You want to know what my response is? My response to that is Notre Dame should consider themselves lucky I cared enough to want to get in the stadium to be loud and root on the football team and balance out some wine and cheesers. They should be thankful I put the effort I did into getting there and finding a way to get in when I was just a dumb 17-year-old high school kid that wanted to support this program. They should be thanking me I tried to find a way to get in, not punishing me. Then everything went digital. I don't like that digital stuff. What happens if your phone dies? You can't get in the game? You should be able to do a digital if you want. And if you want a regular ticket, God bless you, you should be able to do it. Dr. John's up first. What's going on, Doc?
John Michael Kennedy, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, brother. First things first, I want to know you're calling us, so we're assuming you made it through the surgery. Everything's good, my man?
Everything's good. My whole focus has been on your Monday show theme, which is this is the most important week in Notre Dame football since. I started looking back. I know a lot of people are going to say 88, but I'm looking more at the kind of personality Marcus Freeman has. And, of course, that is a much better personality than the 77 championship team.
Yeah.
So I'm going back. I'm going to say 1966.
Oh, man. Okay.
That's what I'm going to say.
All right.
Well, that was Parsegan's third year.
I like this. Keep going. You're cooking. Keep going. I love this.
Yeah. Well, he had a little problem too, as you recall. The week before the Southern Cal game was the 10-10 tie with Michigan State, and he got a lot of crap dumped on him because of that. And I like that you're just because what we did to USC the following week. So that's what I'm going with. I think it's the most important since 66. Of course, nobody that's in chat, maybe Tom, was around at that time. But
yeah,
anyway, that's my take on it.
I love that.
I'll
And
tell you what.
Doc, you know what else is hilarious too? You mentioned 77. I've been around some of those guys and been to their reunion dinner at Notre Dame I got invited to and talked to some of these guys. Like, dude, they used to win in spite of Devine. Like, Devine would tell the offensive play and they'd go, sure, man. And they'd go in the huddle and go, screw Devine. We're running what we want to run. Like, they ran all over that guy, but they were winning, so nobody said anything. But, like, they didn't even – that offense didn't listen to them. They just did what they wanted, and they won anyway. So what was Devine going to do? Push back on it? Like, they knew they were good enough. It's an interesting dynamic. There's a story of him giving a post-game interview standing on a stool with no clothes on. Like, I just think he was a weird dude, man. He was a weird dude.
Well, I'll tell you what, I keep saying I'm not a superstitious guy, but the fact that you don't have the victory chain on right now is bothering the hell out of me.
Is it? It's because it's a big chain week. And so I didn't want to distract. And the big chain, it makes a noise when I'm leaning and on it's bigger and it gets in the way. So I tried to hang it where it was obvious, but I didn't want to take away from the big game chain by wearing the littler chain. I want people to see the big game chain.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I got on my plate today. I just hate this talk about like if the game is already over with. I've just seen too much crap happen out in that Coliseum, and I've been there for a couple of them. I look at 64. I happen to be in the Navy then. We go into that game in the Coliseum 9-0. I'm there. We're ahead 17-0 at the half, and we get beat. Yeah. And I still wake up screaming because I've had this nightmare of Marcus Allen dancing around the parking lot with his helmet in the air.
Doc,
I don't want any of that.
Doc, here's what I think, man. I believe in Notre Dame's defense. I believe in Notre Dame's defense. And I don't think it's a matter of it only looks like a good defense because we're not playing that many good teams or whatever. When I say I believe in them, I mean I genuinely believe in that unit. I think they are totally locked in. They're on a different level now. They're in the zone. Like anybody who's played sports, you know what I mean? Like if you're a basketball player and you get in, you're making all your threes, you're hot one night, like you get into that zen level, that next level where you're not thinking, you're just doing it. Tiger Woods when he's on a roll, like all these guys, the great ones have that level. This defense is playing at a different level. They're zoned in. They're wired in right. Dr. John, I don't see a scenario where that defense lets us down in LA. I don't think they're going to let it happen. I think they will refuse to let it happen. That defense is not going to let us down in LA.
Well, I'll tell you what, that first defensive play, if the reaction is the same as it was in that first play against Army, I will feel a lot better.
Yeah,
they were fired up and they were ready to take the game on their shoulders.
Yep, they absolutely were. I believe in that unit. They're going to lead the way, and I just think they know what this moment is. They're going to be prepared for it. I think that defense sets the tone. I'm wondering if USC is going to try and run the ball and see if they could do that. I wonder if they go, it's in our DNA to want to throw it around, and Riley is not committed to the run enough. I wonder if they go, it's hard to throw against Notre Dame. Maybe they're a little lighter up front. We're just going to try and run it and see what we can do. Wouldn't surprise me to see if USC tried that.
Well, I noticed something in the chat. I guess I didn't. I watched a little bit of that UCLA game. And I don't remember the guy running the option, but a lot of those people in the chat are, they watch this stuff a lot closer than I do. So
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. What this is going to be? What is his second or third game he's played?
Yep. And
started him.
I think I could see him throwing the ball to us a couple times, but you got to make him. Notre Dame #1 in causing turnovers in the whole country right now, #1. And so I don't know, Doc, I still feel like Notre Dame's going to end up over the course of this game 4 quarters with an advantage up front. They got their skill guys. They got some flash because it's USC and they're always going to. But I sincerely do not believe they have the depth and the strength on both lines to keep up with Notre Dame for 4 quarters if Notre Dame just plays a reasonably solid game. Like, I just don't believe it. I've not seen enough from either one of their lines to believe it. And I think that's where Notre Dame's going to end up winning the day ultimately.
Well, there's a lot right on this game, including a free dinner for you and I.
I'm telling you, man, it would taste particularly delicious just because of the generation of how it all started. That isn't about the food; that's about what it represents. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I hope California Joe is listening, because I know he's got things in place. He just has to be able to pull the trigger, and that means if that game ends on Saturday with our total better than SC's, he pulls the trigger on his airfare and everything else. So,
wow. Well, let's hope we have.
It'll be a happening.
Let's hope we're in this position. You got one more game to win, and I'm not overlooking it. Knock on wood. Dr. John, God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hopefully you're with all those great daughters you have. And we are all the Always Irish people are blessed that we got to meet all the extended family at the tailgate, man. I imagine good times are had around that dinner table, man.
Yeah, well, you say hi to your folks, and have a great day tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, my friend.
And a better day Saturday.
There you go. For sure, man. And make sure you tell all of the girlfriends happy Thanksgiving on our behalf, okay?
Oh, yeah, I'll tell all 12 of them.
Oh, I'm sure you will at once, too. That's how Doc's got it down. You know what? He's right, though. I don't like this either. The more I think about it, the more I don't like this at all. I'm glad he brought it up. I kind of feel naked. I feel like out of place. I kind of feel out of place or whatever. Dr. John's a celebrity at the tailgates. You're damn right he is. Callers, I'm coming to you. 815. If you're on hold right now, you're going to be on the air. Couple more things I wanted to address real quick. Jonathan, hey, John, did you see USC's retiring Caleb Williams jersey on Saturday? Number one is, I guess if you win a Heisman, you should get your jersey retired. I have no problem with that. And I guess if you were going to do it, you may as well make it. If you're going to do it, you may as well make it against Notre Dame, I guess, if you're going to do it. But, I mean, good for him. If you win a Heisman, I guess you should be able to. Someone said since Morrison was hurt, ND played 5 games in a row with a mediocre passing game. Yeah, probably, man. Dodger, probably. And let's be honest about this. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. Let's be honest about this. If I have one big fear here for where Notre Dame's at right now, and you ask me one big time, the biggest fear that I have in all this is, like, I'm pretty open with you guys where I'm at with Notre Dame and how psychotic I am with this stuff. If there is a existential fear deep down, it would be somehow you realize that we all got sucked into believing more into this team than it really is because you just hit a string in the middle of part of the season where you played no good off. You just played bad teams. And yeah, we look good. Yeah, we have confidence. Yeah, we're playing good and all that stuff. But like, isn't that the ultimate thing that could cave in on Notre Dame is that you realize the hard way, oh man, we only looked that good because we were playing nobody good. And then when you get matched up against decent talent, even like USC has like above average skill talent or whatever, you're like, oh man, we don't look so good anymore because for 9 weeks, we've been used to seeing bad teams. And you know where that happened, you guys? You know where that happened? Where that happened is it happened for Navy. right? Like Navy was undefeated. They were ranked and they were feeling themselves and all that kind of stuff. And they were beating everybody. They had this huge margin and all that. And then they played Notre Dame and you realize it was all fake. It was all just inflation because you were playing nobody. So that's the big fear. I don't think that's the case. I think this defense is the real deal. But I think that would be the worst case scenario is you face some real talent and you're like, oh man, look at how inflated this has been. We really did get a lucky schedule. That's my worst case scenario, is that slams you in the face. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think the confidence is real. I think the defense is real. I even think many of the improvements that the offensive line has made is real. I think some of that stuff's real. Could you run up against a great roster that shuts it down enough that you lose? Yeah, but I don't think that necessarily means that it's all fake or false, right? 815, make it come alive. I also got a 574-630-716. 815, what's up? Good morning.
Hey, John. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. This is a very, very important big week for Notre Dame. It is Notre Dame's next chance to really move the national needle and force people to respect them to a certain extent. It would be checking a huge box for Marcus Freeman. Like it would be a big time moment for the program, and I am wound tight.
I got a couple points, and that shouldn't be too long. I just want to know, I know you're not a big press conference guy, but did you happen to tune into the press conference on Monday?
Some of it, but not all of it. And I was working on things when I do it. I do not. I don't know what it is, man, but I do not do well with any of these press conferences, Notre Dame's or anybody else's. I think I'm just so sick of being gaslit at a podium with coach speak or politician speak or anything else you want to say. I'm annoyed by it, and I usually don't watch them. And it's bad for business because doing what I do, I probably should, but I don't watch them close enough. What did I miss?
No, the reason I asked is because it was about me.
Oh boy!
So Freeman had some quote. He used the word like intentionally hire or something. And I wrote a joke in there, and I was just like, "Hey, could you intentionally hire me? You know, I'm willing to relocate." And then I started throwing out all these like my college football 25 resume stats. How I have like 3 titles in 5 years, and I recruit all these corners. And the Notre Dame page responded to me, and they're like, "Coach isn't monitoring this chat, but you have us cracking up at your resume." So. I think I'm starting.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's my point.
You're on the radar. You're on the radar. The last time that I was on there, I got put in timeout like I'm a 4-year-old. Somebody at the university put Johnny in timeout. What am I, 5 years old? They put me in timeout. I wasn't even saying anything bad, but I was being sarcastic. Boom, timeout. What?
Mark got put in timeout on Monday. He was not a happy camper.
I'm telling you, I couldn't believe it. It just makes you feel like you're literally a 5-year-old. It's like I'm in Notre Dame social media timeout. Are you serious?
I just found it funny that they responded to me. Anyway, I want to go back. So I remember, you might not remember, but I didn't remember, but it kind of hit me yesterday when I was watching the rankings come out. I remember I called you before the beginning of the season, and you kept saying, you know, we got to get the 5 seed because, you know, we're going to play the group of 5 team. And I called in and I told you, I'm like, you know, I'm not so certain that the group of 5 team is going to get the 12 seed. And I gave you, you know, like those 2 Cincinnati teams, and there was a couple of UCS teams that they would have been higher. And it's looking like Boise's going to get the bye.
Yeah, dude, isn't it weird? Isn't it weird
if that happens?
I'm just saying there is a huge, tell me if you agree. It feels like there's a huge, huge difference in the earning of the bye between the Big Ten and the SEC champions and everybody else. Don't you agree that there's just a huge, in my football brain, maybe it's wrong in me, maybe I have SEC bias too, but there's a big difference to me in earning that bye when I look at a Big Ten team or an SEC team and then everybody else that in the other conferences. That's just, I'm sorry. Maybe, am I wrong?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But
But wait, what do you mean you don't know? You're not telling me you value the Big 12 the way you do the SEC. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
right?
No, okay. I think I misunderstood what you were saying.
Yeah.
The winner of the Big Ten and SEC is guaranteed 1 and 2 seed, no question.
Yeah, and it's just, and I think if that's what
you meant.
Yeah, because if you're lining up against the other teams in your bracket to get that, it's just going to be an easier road than I think the Big Ten or the SEC. But whatever, man. It's all kind of wild, man. Just seeing these things move around and how much those matchups shift and what that'll do. And now the talk is, can Notre Dame jump Penn State if they beat USC by a bigger margin? And what does that do to reposition Notre Dame? I am not smart enough to do the bracketology to know. It's just a wild new scene.
Yeah, I think this. I'm not. I don't really, sit there and pick if we win, we might play this team at 5-12 or whatever.
Yeah,
I think the 6 is good. I prefer to stay at 6.
Well, what did it look like?
I want to avoid the SEC.
It looked like
in round 1 at least.
Yeah, I agree with you. Your number one priority to me would be to avoid them and Ohio State. That would be my one. Listen, I know people don't like Ohio State. For some reason in my mind, their defense plays in the postseason. Like that defense they have and all that talent, I just see that being a tough out in the playoff. And I don't like Ryan Day. I don't trust him. There's something about that defense I think could carry them a long way in the playoff that I respect. I don't know, man. It's all wild how you get this bracket. You can end up with a round 1 or 2 games that are served up for you to succeed, or you could get Georgia round 1 and it's a lot tougher. I don't know.
Yeah, last point on the playoff thing is I'm hoping Boise gets the bye because this bracket, system is only a 2-year contract. And if Boise gets the bye, they're gonna definitely change how the automatic bids work. There's no way that they're gonna allow the group of 5 to get the bye again if it happens this year.
Yeah, it's
that's my thought. I'm rooting for them to change it. Is basically my interest.
What do you make of USC? I want to know your thoughts, man. Where are you at on this? My takeaway is I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to pick Notre Dame to win in my write-up or whatever, but the defense is not going to not show up in this moment. That is the one thing I'm sticking to that makes me feel the best about this is I know it's travel. I know it's an early start. I know we have a weird history sometimes out there finishing in LA. I know all that. I'm just saying this defense is not going to be the reason that Notre Dame has a drop-off this Saturday. They're not. They're too zoned in.
Yeah, I think they're going to win. I think it'll be fine, but they're playing a game, so I'm nervous.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I think, the only thing is that scares me is they have skill positions, and that like Zach Branch, he's just faster than everybody on the field.
Yeah.
So he scares me automatically. But I think they'll be okay. I think if they just show up and play their game and don't have any, stupid letdowns or penalties or, miscues, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, it's I think this is no offense to USC, but I genuinely feel like Notre Dame's going to have to beat Notre Dame to a large extent. I respect some of their skill guys. You have to. I'm never going to deny they have a bunch of them. I'm just telling you, Notre Dame's got to make a bunch of uncharacteristic mistakes. And I just think the defense is going to lead the way. And I don't see them. Maybe it takes a while. Maybe USC, listen, Lincoln Riley has nothing to lose, man. He has 5 losses. You're not playing for anything but to go out on top. I'd be telling these guys, we're pulling everything out and we're going to beat Notre Dame and ruin their year. That's all he has right now to go for. That's it.
Yeah, I do like the day game. I'm very happy it's a day game and not a night game.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. And you know what else? You know what else?
Builds it up.
It does. But the one thing I'm never really worried about is listen, this isn't College Station you're walking into. This isn't that environment. You got a bunch of spick-holies hanging 10 out there, surfboard, and then coming to the game. I'm not ever worried about the crowd intimidation there. It ain't going to happen. There'll probably be more Notre Dame fans there because every Notre Dame fan that lives on the West Coast knows something cool might happen. They might show up. I'm not scared of the environment or whatever. It's just a weird dynamic out there in Hollywood that just makes me uncomfortable. I don't like California.
Oh, we know.
I don't like it. It's a weird place. It's a weird place. It alters reality. I don't like the place.
I do like how we do, like this year, 18 and 12. I do like how, there's a little bit of oomph, like at the end of the schedule. Like we have to beat USC to get in. It would kind of be boring if we had to play Stanford.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe that's just me, and people want like the easy win at Stanford, because they always suck. But I kind of like how there's a little juice to this game just because it's USC and not Stanford.
I don't know what your age is. How old are you compared to me? I'm 40. I'm 40. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm in my basement. I'm 40. You want to yell at somebody? Yell at me. I'm in my basement. I'm 40. You're what?
26.
Jesus, 26. I'm telling you, 2012. There's some of this feels like that, where we were undefeated and then had to go beat a not good USC team with a backup quarterback in the last game to be able to lock in your spot in that championship game. Some of this feels like that. And you have the defense that you love that leads the team. You had Manti Te'o and that defense that was leading the team. And then you look at it as you got to finish in. That's what I keep coming back to, is it feels like that, where you have a great defense. You're heading out there against a not great USC team. That is where, like, I'm feeling some vibes between that and this, and the defense went out there and hung tough and won the day. I'm getting some vibes of that. I wonder if anybody else is too, if you're of that age or remember that.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that.
26.
Well, I'll let you go.
Unbelievable.
Before I go, I wanted to tell the chat. That was a pretty rough day for me, Wednesday or Tuesday night. And, just all those people sending those nice comments, it meant a lot, saying prayers for my dog. It was hard for me. So I just appreciate all the comments you guys said.
Hey, that's a tough thing, man. And it's a really unique relationship between a good dog and a good owner. And it's hard to explain. And it's a weird batch of emotions, but it's real. And it's one of the most genuine connections any of us are ever going to have. If you're good to a dog, they're good to you. And that's just a special thing. And you know what, man? Like, I mean, we give people a hard time around here, whatever, take it and give it. But this is a good community. I like it.
I know. That's kind of what the takeaway I saw after that. Is there were so many people that said it, and I couldn't have been more grateful. So I just wanted to say that before I hung up.
Hey, no problem, man. Thanks for mentioning that. And I hope you have a good Thanksgiving, fill up, and then get ready for a wild Saturday, man. It could be a thing. Could be a big deal.
It's going to be a big deal. All right.
Have a good one, man.
I'll talk to you probably end of the season. We'll see.
There you go. Wait, what do you mean? The end of the season is a couple days. Call me.
The next game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Call me on the post-game show.
That's the regular season.
There you go.
The regular season.
There you go. I love it. All right. Have a good one, man. Happy Thanksgiving. See ya. And remember, I don't know if I believe how they say all dogs go to heaven. I don't know if all dogs go to heaven. I got bit by some little rat dog when I lived in Evanston, walking to the train one day. I was going to I think it was a Cubs Sox game at Wrigley. I was going to get on the train. Some little rat dog on the owner had a rope, but the rope had more slack. The thing jumped. That little rat jumped. I'm moving around in the rope. This little rat dog was bit locked onto my thigh. I ain't got much muscle there. It could have been down to the bone. And I'm moving this little rat dog around. I don't know if I'm buying this all dogs go to heaven BS. I think most. I'm not saying all. That little rat better not have. I should have laid there and acted like I had rabies coming out of my leg. I should have started spitting up, foaming at the mouth, season, and sued that old man. What? He's like, oh, I got him on a rope. What good is your rope do? There's more slack than it takes for him to get to me and bite me. What good does your rope do? That's what he said. Oh, I got him on a rope. With more slack than it takes for him to bite my leg, you fool. Jerry Reinsdorf. I always knew you were really a Cubs fan. Yeah, right. Good one. Just a miserable White Sox fan. Never going to change. Look at this. Phil says, if you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. Phil says, AYS on LSU's big offseason hype is hilarious. I have 2 comments on this. Notre Dame's got enough to talk about. We don't need to focus on Brian Kelly. I'm only going to say 2 sentences and then we'll move it on. Let's see if I could stick to that. What are the odds? Number 1 is I continue to be astounded by the way the LSU media hangs on every single word Brian Kelly says at the podium. It is unbelievably hilarious. It is absolutely comedy gold. The articles and the YouTube shows are just every single thing that Kelly says. They take his gold and they write an article or do a whole YouTube episode. And it's unbelievable. Always politicking, never elected. That is what I troll them with on YouTube and Twitter whenever I see this. Always politicking, never elected. Number two. Yeah, Kelly's the one laughing, walking away with millions. That is not my problem. That is LSU's problem. And so here's number 2. They're making this huge media thing. All of the LSU show, Tiger Bait and AYS and the Whiskey and Wine guys and Mascana and all these guys, they're all doing this thing of like, oh man, Kelly revealed the offseason plan and it's going to be something to really monitor. This is going to be awesome. You know what the plan is? We're going to be aggressive in the portal. Oh my God. Whoa, dude. What a wild plan for the offseason. Is that the recruiting class is falling apart. He's feeling the heat. And then he says, we're going to be aggressive in the portal. Oh my God. This is breaking news. It's unbelievable. That's the news. They're look it up. I'm not exaggerating. Look it up on YouTube. They're doing all these articles and videos about it. It's unbelievable. Brian Kelly unveils huge, massive LSU offseason plan. The plan, we're going to try and spend money and get good players out of the portal. You mean like every other serious contender in the country? Wow, bro, you're really opening up the curtain there. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. It's just, anyways, I don't want to make it about him. Not this week, anyways. Not this week. Look at this. I'm going back to the calls. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. John, are you a surfer, dude? Yes. This guy coming from you from the suburbs. The guy coming to you from the suburbs in Illinois is, I'm hanging 10, bro. And I already explained to you guys that I almost died. I already explained it, and I wasn't even surfing. All I was doing is snorkeling, and I almost died, and I almost drowned, and I almost got eaten by a shark. It was really a bad day. I'm not messing with the Pacific. It's too rocky, man. I don't know if it was a windy day or whatever, but it was like, if this is what the Beach Boys were singing about, I ain't interested. I just can't do it. I can't. Surfing USA, I surfed myself into a casket. I get you. We couldn't even, it was not even enjoyable in the Pacific, man. Water in my blowhole while I'm trying to breathe. I lost a flipper. I got sharks underneath me. Awful experience in the Pacific. I hate it. I don't like it. Sharknado for sure, bro. And here's what I did, the mistake I made. Ronald says, what's wrong with you? A lot of things, Ronald. You may want to look in the mirror before you allege anything. But I don't think you should be the arbiter of what's wrong with me. But I got things wrong with me. Give me a break. Let's be honest. I'm just not sure you're the one that gets to decipher it. I got a guy in clown makeup writing down all the things wrong with me. Okay. Unbelievable. So I ain't no surfer, dude. I'm not doing that. I almost drowned. I almost died. I got bad ocean vibes, man. Pacific, almost died snorkeling. Atlantic, guy jumps off cruise ship in the middle of the night, and it's the biggest tragedy of all time, and it ruins everybody's trip, and everybody misses their flight home, and we're bobbing around in a circle in the ocean looking for this guy all night. and everybody's crying and freaking out. And John went there to try and get away from death because my entire job is meeting people where somebody died. And I just, God forbid, John has a week to get out of that and go do something tropical. And then I'm doing grief counseling on my vacation because this guy jumped off the boat and he's gone forever. Shark bait. Gone forever. Never going on a cruise again. All it takes is one guy to do one dumb thing and it ruins everybody's thing, everybody's week. All it takes is the wrong granny to sneeze in the buffet and everybody around there's got the runs for a whole week. I don't like these cruises, man. You're cruising for a bruising and I'm your cruise director and we're not going on one. We're not doing it. Unbelievable. That is hilarious. It was not hilarious. It was very unfortunate. Dude, people were crying hysterically that saw this poor guy jump in the middle of the night off the 10th deck in front of a bunch of people. And people were throwing their life jackets in the water, like hoping this guy would find it. People were crying and like traumatized. The family was there. And then it was like, oh man, some guy did this. And then everybody's looking around, who's missing a family member? And then it was just an absolute nightmare. Just an absolute nightmare. It was not relaxing. I don't need this trouble. Is John a surfer dude? Yeah. Whoa, hey man, whoa. Where can I catch a slick barrel, bro? I don't know. What do you say in California? What do you say in California? I don't understand. Texas Mac says, stand back. I'm a funeral director. Well, Texas Mac, I got to tell you this. I don't know how it's going for you where you're at, but in Illinois, all those funeral homes are in big, big trouble because the cremation rates are through the roof and there's just not operating money when nobody needs your hearse. Nobody needs your casket. Nobody needs your wake crew for 2 days. Nobody needs any of that. They're cremating grandma and sending her back in a jar. It's a tough business, man. I was in the cemetery side of it, not the funeral home side of it. And the cremation rates were already a problem. Then the virus hit and it went way through the roof. And now a lot of those places are losing money if you didn't get ahead of it and plan for this revenue to decrease as more and more people do cremation. You're talking about in my area, the difference between like a $12,000 burial situation or a $2,000 burial situation, depending on cremation or casket. You can't make no dough. You can't. It's ruining the whole business. You can't make any money that way. $20 holler from Brian. John, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Keep up the great content. And I have anxiety about this game with SC having nothing to lose. Do you see the SEC team, or the SEC, there's a Freudian slip. Do you see the SC team mailing it in? Or ND Friday arrival for early kickoff and issue? Here's what I think. This is a good question, Brian. I see you mid-golf swing too there. I like that. Here's the deal. Omar is John's life jacket. Yeah, I'm telling you this. If me and Omar fell off the Titanic, Omar would have let me use that piece of wood that girl was on when she killed Leo. If it was me and Omar would have scooted over and let me use that floating piece of wood, and we could have lived our life together with a hell of a story. But no, she had to push him off, and there he goes. Right to the bottom of the Atlantic goes Leo in his perfect hairline. I'm still mad. There was room on that floating piece of wood. What? Leo DiCaprio's 5'2", 98 pounds. You couldn't fit him on that floating piece of wood. He's the smallest guy on the boat. He's the smallest guy on the boat, and you couldn't fit him on that piece of wood, Rose. Unbelievable. Come on. There was so much room. Or James Cameron should have cut the wood in half to eliminate this debate for 30 years. Come on, man. You know how many more rendezvous in a vintage car underneath the ship they could have had if she let him float on that wood? Unbelievable. Here's my thought. Here's my thought about this USC and if they quit. they're going to want to play in this game early. But if you give them a reason to quit, they'll quit. That's my answer. They'll act like they're ready, and they've won a couple games. They're feeling a little better about themselves with all this. Angela, God bless you and the family, all the Rudigers. When the Rudigers do Thanksgiving, they got to rent a banquet hall. There's 600 people there. I can't keep any of them straight. Which cousins this? Which of Rudy's brothers' kids is this batch? Which of Rudy's brothers' kids is this batch? I can never keep track of who belongs to what Rudiger outside of Angela and her siblings and her dad. I can't tell. There's one other one that I can tell whose kid is who. Other than that, I lose it. There's too many damn people in that Rudiger's family. If you had a tenth of the heart of Rudiger's, you'd have a family 900 people deep, I guess. Anyways, here's my thought. If you give USC a reason to quit, they'll quit. And they'll start making business decisions, and they'll start thinking, we got 5 losses. I'm about to hit the portal. I don't need these problems, right? Like, you get what I'm saying? They're going to, if you let them hang around and think they're going to upset you or whatever, you're in for a long day. You could be in for a long day, and they could play way above the level they've been playing or whatever. But if you give them a reason to quit and it's really obvious, maybe they will. Roger Dodger says USC hasn't quit this year. Well, I have two responses to that. I have 2 response callers. I'm coming to you. I got 2 responses to this. USC hasn't quit this year. Number 1 is correct. Number 1 is correct. They've been winning all the games they lost in the fourth quarter. So, right, Roger Dodger, I want to make sure I got it. I think 5 games they've lost. They've been leading in the fourth quarter in all of them, and they've all been by within 1 score margin. All right. So yes, they haven't quit. They have not gotten blown out or gotten ran over and just laid down. Like, that has not happened. I agree. But what is different about this is it's last game of the year. That's where I'm saying there's a difference. Like, this is not any one of those other moments where you still have games to play or your season's not over or whatever. It being the last game of the year is what makes me think if you give them a reason to check out, maybe some of them say, what do I need to pack up to hit the portal after this? I'm done. I don't need these problems with Notre Dame guys hitting me in the face. I don't need it. That's all I'm saying. I just think the fact that it's the last game, if you give them a reason, maybe they'll opt out. $20 howler. Counting on the Irish to rock this week. Still holding out hope for a playoff rematch. Have a wonderful holiday. Beat the hell out of Texas at SC Giga. I got to tell you, Rick, it's been a joy getting to know you, man. Genuine, nice guy. Texas A&M fan, has no reason to follow this show. Found us in the lead up to A&M and then never left, stuck around, helped with the phone lines. Rick's a genuine, nice guy. And Rick, I hope you're still listening. I hope when you guys come to South Bend, you can meet up with some of our people there, show you around, or make the trip, and we could show you some hospitality. Potatoes. John, I'm back in Kelly visiting friends and family. Can't wait to see my SC friends cry Saturday night. They all think they got a shot. Listen, confidence is never something they're lacking out there. That's for sure. 574, what's going on?
Hey, John, how's your day going so far?
I'm doing great. I'm doing totally great. I have a lot of energy. It's anxious anxiety, but like excited anxiety. I'm ready for this, man. Notre Dame has earned this. They put themselves in this position. Now you need to perform one more time and make this real. I'm ready.
Yeah, you can definitely feel the hate for this week. I am so sick and tired of seeing goal posts for when we will see real competition. I'm so sick of it. I hate this narrative that we have not, that, oh, they'll get a real challenge this week. We win. Oh, they'll get this one. We win. And now it's this week. If you keep moving your goalpost, that means your ground is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I get it, man. It's a little bit frustrating. You know, I watched media types and fan bases all over the country say Notre Dame's going to lose to Army. This team's different. They're undefeated. Look out. This running attack, blah, 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 blah. And then the second Notre Dame blows them out, it turns into Notre Dame should be penalized for scheduling Army. Why is this allowed? Like that team, why are they? It's really funny the games people will play to discredit anything good Notre Dame does out of pure Notre Dame hatred. Facts don't matter. Games don't matter. Records don't matter. What they see with their own eyes don't matter. They know they hate Notre Dame, and that's it. They're just blind. It's blind hatred.
And you know what? I'm on the same boat as you. If we win this game Saturday, I want every single college football fan that hates us to swallow in their pride. Like, I am so done with this. They shouldn't be in. They lost the NIU. They're not, their schedule strength is terrible. Like, guess what? Who cares? We're going to get in. We're going to get our millions of dollars for getting in, and your team, SEC team's not. Why? Because you guys keep getting in your own way.
Yeah, it is. Listen, it's really frustrating, but at the same time, a part of me is laughing at it now because it doesn't matter, right? Like, it really doesn't matter. All these people are talking their crap, but we just watched the rankings yesterday and we're in a great spot. And if you keep winning, you're going to be fine. So, like, you have two different realities. You have the reality of what's actually going on in the rankings, and then you have all that social media and the Notre Dame hatred and whatever. It's almost funny because it doesn't matter. And you just want so badly as a Notre Dame fan to keep winning and shut these people up and stick it to them so they have no leg to stand on, you know?
I hope that we start getting to the more common ground sense. Like, if these high profile sports people like Reese Davis last night saying, "Oh, there's an upset right here coming."
Yep.
That we just don't give them the time of day. Like, they're only saying that crap because they want the clicks.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
Yeah,
it's
at dude.
Point in our lives, we can just say, you know what? That's a hot take. Not giving you my 10 seconds of time to get mad about that. I'm just going to watch this other person because he actually has a freaking brain in the top of his head.
Yeah, it's man, the stuff that gets me is there are certain people that are like against Notre Dame all the time or whatever, or I understand why they have a vendetta or whatever. But when people that never mention Notre Dame at all, positively or negatively, suddenly jump out of the woodwork as a Notre Dame expert, it really cracks me up. You got a lot of people that never give Notre Dame the time of day, but now all of a sudden that fancy Alabama might not make the playoff. Every SEC and Alabama media person is suddenly an expert on Notre Dame's schedule and how they play football. It's amazing. And it's so transparent to just see what's going on here. It's just, we hate Notre Dame so much, we're just lashing out. And reality doesn't matter. Facts don't matter. Record don't matter. We don't like Notre Dame and we're letting it be known. It's a beautiful thing in a way, though. It is a compliment, right? Because it does mean that you matter. It does mean that you're a threat. Like, I want to acknowledge that all of that is a compliment in a way.
I just don't understand how some of these people do, I am praying that we get that home field advantage and we host some Southern team like Tennessee or SMU. Why? Because what did we just talk about a few weeks ago? There's no better game than in December in Notre Dame Stadium. And any Southern team that comes up to play us in a hopefully snow bowl would be amazing to watch on television. And anybody who is in the South that complains saying that, oh, these games should be played at neutral sites, it's not fair. Did we not just watch the Steelers and Browns play in a literal snow globe game? They're not going to move to a neutral field. That's what you're about to play if you're an NFL Sunday player. You're going to play in those environments. So I don't want to hear any crap saying that these games need to be played in neutral sites.
Yeah, it's man, there's so much on the line here. Notre Dame could piss off so many people if they win this game. If Notre Dame wins this game, they're gonna piss everybody off. It's gonna be so funny.
If we have to go down in Texas in August in their most crappiest, humid time of the year, they can come up in December and play us in the negative degree weather. It's only fair.
Yeah, it is. Listen, man, that's the way it breaks. And you know what would be a big waste? What would be a big waste is if Notre Dame ended up with a home game. Knock on wood, by the way. I'm not assuming the USC win. I always want to mention that out of just respect for the football aura around here. if it would be a big,
No.
it would be a big frustration if you ended up hosting a team used to the cold weather, wouldn't it? Because that home field advantage thing, you want it to be a big break, but if you catch a draw of a team that's used to it, you're not going to get that full feel. I want a warm weather team.
I agree with you, but I'm going to disagree with you on the respect for USC. I will never respect that team. I know there are rivals. I will never respect them.
Hey, I like that.
After all the years that I have watched football and how they handled that program, and they're using the money in LA to get any player that they try to get as best they can, using media to influence their program. No. They can kiss where the light don't shine.
I like this.
I can't stand USC.
I like this. I hear it in you. I feel it in your voice. I'm here for this kind of vitriol, man. I'm here for it. This is what it's all about, man. And you know, I keep bringing this up, and you can make fun of me if you want. New Rockney would love this. New Rockney would love this, man. You got New York in Yankee Stadium, Army as the first leg of the Rockney road trip, and you finish it out in LA against USC with everything to play for to make Notre Dame history by hosting a playoff game. This is a Newt Rockney's dream as a marketer and a promoter. He was the first real influencer in America. It's all setting up, but Notre Dame's got to go earn one more win. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Here's the thing, though. I wish Marcus Freeman's quote from the Army game about what's the message to the team, I wish it was this week. I wish it was violence. Instead of Army, I wish you would have saved that quote for this week.
Yeah, it's man, I'm telling you, if you asked like what's the could say in a situation like that for you, John, to get you going the way I already said I don't like press conferences and coach speak, I think that would be it. I think that would be it. I don't know what else Freeman could say besides that would get me excited. I mean, it's oh man, I love it. And you know what's good about it? It isn't just him saying it. It's that he knew the team was going to deliver it, right? Like that's the thing. It isn't just saying it. It's him saying it and then watching the team do it. They're in sync. I feel like Freeman and this team have grown and matured a lot together, and they're both in a much more comfortable operating place than they were earlier in the year. And I think we're seeing it pay off.
I completely agree. And I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to have our team ready this weekend just because of all of what the players have said in the interview, saying that he's played that 2022 game in almost every spot where the team can see it. Because the people who were there, who had to experience that, they're going to play the best game Saturday.
Yeah, man. It's this is big time stuff. There's a lot on the line here. Everybody understands it. I'm telling you, I need this team to be ready, and I think they're going to be. Anything else today, man? I love the energy. I love hearing you. I could just hear it in your voice how much this means to you. That's what this week is all about. I love it. Anything else?
No, the only thing I have to say is that every single person that has picked the upset in this game, I hope that every single one of them has to bring it up Monday. Because if they don't, I will personally not stop until they bring it up.
Yeah.
Because I'm so tired, like I said, of the goalposts being moved.
Yeah.
And there's no real test, and they're bringing these statistics, and it's like, I don't care. I don't care. You keep constantly moving the goalposts, disrespecting this team, and what it's had to overcome that NIU game. You just don't want to see us in the playoffs. That's the real truth.
Yeah.
Instead, you want to see an Alabama team that got their butt kicked by a 6-5 team.
Yeah, it's telling you, man, this is about as big as it gets. It's as big as it gets. I'm not even worried about that. Could you make it with 2 losses? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not trying to worry about any of that, man. I'm not messing with any of that. I need you to take care of this business, win this game, and lock in this spot in a home seed. Listen, man, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're able to step back and enjoy a good meal and relax a little bit until the ultimate build-up here. But I love hearing that passion in your voice, and I can tell it's coming from a real place, and I love it, and that's what I'm here for. I love that. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. You have yourself a great Thanksgiving yourself. And yeah, that game, I hope we kick the crap out of them. I hope we put 60 on them. Whoever that guy, Pat, is, if you're going to argue we put up the score against USC, you should not be able to talk on the show again.
I hope we're in the position where we can have that debate. Let's put it that way. Have a good Thanksgiving, buddy. Have a good one, buddy. How much time you got, buddy? Who knows where that one-liner's from? It's very specific. It's very specific and very inappropriate. Extremely inappropriate. Who knows where that single line is from? How much time you got, buddy? An old skit. Mikey Pulls got it right away. It took 2 seconds and Mikey Pulls got it. How much time you got, buddy? The best dancers. Oh my God. Okay. So apparently that isn't an off one-liner. Everybody knows it. USC has already said they're Bob Alvey says USC has already said they're rushing the field. What is that? What do you mean they're rushing the field? Does that mean all 14 of the players' families run on the field when the clock runs out? Like, give me a freaking break. It's highly weird. This place is going to have more Notre Dame people than USC people. Who is going to run out there? The players' parents and Jeff Spicoli. I don't understand who's going to run out there. Who's going to run out there? Manson and his family of weirdos living in the valley? Who's running out there? Unbelievable. Snoop Dogg, Will Ferrell. Oh, man. I'm being kind of goofy. Here's the thing. Somebody, the Texas A&M, he mentioned, that fine gentleman mentioned, as far as Notre Dame, the betting is kind of going towards Notre Dame or whatever. I saw that. I think I wrote an article, but I don't even remember. Notre Dame's got the 5th best odds right now, according to MGM's book, to win the championship. You can take that however you want to take it. But they got the 5th best odds right now. You could say it's just dumb Notre Dame people buying it up. I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, it's the big show. Roger Dodger says football is violence, kind of repetitive. Dodger, you're a USC fan. So let me explain it, why that hits me different as a Notre Dame fan. I have been complaining forever that Notre Dame does not play with the edge that I think they need to play with to get better, higher level results. I don't believe Brian Kelly was capable of motivating guys to do it to the extent I need or whatever. That's been a complaint for a long time, is that Notre Dame has not played with an edge, the edge that I need to eliminate people's will to exist. They just haven't had that edge in a long, long time. And you feel like it might be different this time because that defense, they go out to do real damage and they back it up. You could argue it's been against lesser competition, and I can't disagree with that. I'm just telling you, that's kind of the way I see it, as being differently, because it's something we've lacked for a very long time. Tom Frawley, Chicago's very own. Burks, you better be very young if Ian Book's your all-time favorite ND player. You know, I got to say this. This is a minor complaint. This is a minor complaint, but I see Notre Dame people all the time on Twitter who are like, oh, Omar, you missed it. You were the star of the show earlier. You and I got brought up in a, Omar, you got to reverse the thread here and rewatch it. Does anybody have a timestamp for Omar and when we did this? When we did that whole, somebody's got to figure out the timestamp. Omar, you and I had a moment earlier in the stream. You and I had an amazing moment that I think you'll appreciate. You genuinely have to go back and find it. I think you'll find it very interesting. I'm sorry you missed it, Omar. Oh, man. All right, I need to get back to the calls. I'm going to get myself in trouble. 630, what do you know? Hello.
Yo, this is Bert. How are you?
What's going on, man? Hey, what do you make of this excitement and build up? First thing I want to know from you is, do you think your boys have any shot against Ohio State, or is this just a done deal this year? It ain't happening, or can they rise up with a little? This is our rivalry. We got to wake up here. Is there any of that, or they just not have the horses to even do that this year? Be honest.
Dude, we're not going to win, man. I've been telling my fan base this. All right, we just talked. My fan base, John, has been so arrogant, so delusional. They can't take my takes. I've been getting banned on their channels, their shows and stuff, right? Because we're just not going to win. Like, yeah, I guess you could say, like, if you do win, it'll be like a field goal or a touchdown at max. But, like, dude, like, our QB sucks. Our O-line sucks. Our receivers suck. Only we have a decent defense. But, it's just that the fans are just so delusional. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Hey, what is the inside reaction been to the Underwood flip and all that? Is this an indication Michigan has got their NIL in order and they're going to be a major player from now on? Or is that just a one-off to get this one guy because of Portnoy? Or like, what are we doing here? What are the realities of that? Is that going to lead to a trend of Michigan spending big to do this from now on, or what?
Yeah, man. So basically, this NIL, so basically, yes. Oracle guy, billionaire, Portnoy, they all did. It's true, they did set all this stuff up. But what Michigan fans don't understand, and I've been telling them this, and they think I'm some dumbasses, is that this team needs it to be really good. Let's be real here, right? This billionaire would not be investing this money unless, like, he gets something in return, right? So this team, and what he wants in return is for them to be good, to go to the playoffs and stuff like that. If they don't go to the playoffs, they're going to stop, these donors are going to stop you giving them money, right? Look what happened with Texas A&M, right? But the donors stopped completely. They even fired Jimbo Fisher. So I've been telling these Mexican fans that, but they're like, oh, you're not a Michigan fan. What are you, some Buckeye? You're like Mr. Negative. It pisses me off, dude. Like, they don't understand the reality.
Well, it'll be interesting. It'll be a fun game to watch anyways, and give me a distraction leading into our ball game. What do you make of Notre Dame USC? I do appreciate you being from the outside looking in. Do you look at USC and their skill talent, say, hey, they could keep up with Notre Dame, it's at home? Or do you think Notre Dame will out-physical them and win the day and punch their playoff ticket? What do you think from the outside?
Yeah, no, like this should be an easy game for Notre Dame, man. Like I said, Ronald, I don't listen to him. All right, I feel he's doing reverse psychology. You know what I'm saying? I actually think he might be a Notre Dame fan, but he's doing reverse.
Oh, I'm convinced he's a Notre Dame fan, dude. I'm convinced he's a Notre Dame fan, and this is just a little pet project. He's here every day. I'm convinced he really likes Notre Dame, and it's just playing contrarian to mix it up and protect himself, insulate his feelings. Like, I genuinely think that's what's going on. I think that's a Notre Dame fan. I agree.
Yeah, no, I agree too. Listen, I go to so many chats: Ohio State chat, Penn State chat, Michigan chat. I don't see any Ronald McDonald here. He's only here.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame's gonna win. This should be an easy win. I think you'll have a good week, John. Thanksgiving, Notre Dame, and Bears are gonna lose. I'm sorry.
It's gonna ruin so many Thanksgiving dinners with family. Like, you have the Bears getting crushed by the Lions right in the middle of everybody's Thanksgiving lunch. Like, dude, everybody in Illinois is gonna be drinking their misery away. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a rough one, man. I think the Lions are playing the best football in the league right now. That's tough.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. My Packers are playing too tomorrow, so that'll be nice. But yeah.
Yeah, man. So listen, I appreciate you calling. I'm still gonna tell you this though, man. It is very, very odd to me to get along with the Michigan person and have you think reasonably and fairly about not only Michigan, but Notre Dame too. It's very rare. I do not have a good history. In fact, I have an awful history with all of the Michigan people. So this is very awkward for me that you and I kind of get along here, but I appreciate the calls and you've been very fair, and it's nice to have you in the community, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I almost want to punch myself.
Yeah, hey, have a Thanksgiving, man, and good luck with your Irish, but not your Bears, because I don't like the Bears. But yeah, Take care, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for being around, and enjoy your game if you can. See if they could rise up, and happy Thanksgiving, buddy. Thank you.
Yep. Take care.
It is really, really uncomfortable to me how much I get along with that guy. I don't like it. Mark without glasses says turkey, no gravy, and saltine crackers. Yeah, fire it up for John. In a way, turkey should be one of my favorite meats because it's so bland. It's just like kind of salty meat, but there ain't much juice to turkey. Like there's not much you could do with it. It's just kind of turkeying around. It's kind of bland. Turkey's kind of a boring meat. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't come with like the status of a steak or even like the fulfillingness of a burger. Like it's just, it doesn't even have like, even ham has more personality than turkey. I just can't do it. If you smoke a turkey, it's juicy. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be blowing up my backyard, I see all those videos of them people that are like, hey, you know what we're going to do for Thanksgiving? We're going to drink 43 Natty Lights, and I'm going to put this full turkey into this hot barrel of oil, and we're going to cook it, and it's only going to take 2 seconds. And then they put it in, and the whole neighborhood blows up. What do you guys know what I'm talking about? Every year I see those videos where they're, hey, and it's always a dude with a bush light in his hand and an extra long smoke. And they go, you know what I'm going to do? I don't need 8 hours to cook my turkey. I do mine in 1 minute and it's done perfect like. And they put the turkey in, boom, the whole neighborhood explodes. And I'm weary about this. I got an uncle who had a gas grill when they were first becoming popular. Something went wrong and it blew up in his face or something. So I've been freaked out ever since. Okay. Ever since Uncle Harry had that, and his name's literally Uncle Harry. Don't do it to me, Harry. God bless his memory. The guy's no longer alive. God bless his hair. But Uncle Harry had the damn grill blew up in his face. What? Don't do it to me, Harry. Boom. Just a turkey leg goes flying through the neighborhood. John's brother quit dating a girl when he found out she was a Miami fan. Yeah, and it must run in the family because I was getting along great with the girl till we had the discussion on the second or third date that her and her whole family are from the suburbs of Detroit and she's in grad school in Chicago, but they're all Detroit. She's from the suburbs of Detroit and they're all diehard Michigan people and her dad's whole life revolves around Michigan football. That was the last time we went out. Killed it. Dead. Killed it. Couldn't operate that way. I'll never forget being at that bar. I'm in a good mood. It's going good. This girl's cute. She's nice. She's smart. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then we get to that discussion. And she said, oh, yeah, we're from the suburbs of Detroit. And we love Michigan, blah, blah, blah. That was it. I could never look at her the same again. And I said, you know how you say, it isn't you, it's me? I did the opposite. It isn't me, it's you and your stupid family. I did the reverse. I didn't say it's me, it's not you, it's me. I said it's you. I can't deal with this. So apparently me and my brother both have the same problem. It's a deal breaker. He found a Miami girl when he moved to Florida, and that couldn't last 2 dates. I found a Michigan girl in Chicago. That couldn't last 2 dates. You gotta, they always say you gotta line up your values, man. You gotta be with somebody where your values line up or something. We can't live this way. We're Kennedys. We couldn't live this way. Couldn't live this way. It's fine to have a girl that doesn't care either way or is neutral about football or whatever, and it's just your thing, but I can't be bringing that kind of energy into my life. Are you outside your mind? And I said it with a straight face. You think I was joking or found a smooth way to say, no. That is just something I was not able to overcome. I said, you're a very nice person. You're a very nice girl, whatever. This is something that isn't going to work. I ain't going to be able to deal with it. 386, you're in the mix. What's going on?
Hey, John, happy Thanksgiving, man.
Thanks. I just we're getting a little goofy here today. I think I am maybe struggling a little bit to regulate my emotions with everything that's coming this weekend, and I'm acting out a little bit. I think I admit that.
That's fair. You know, the nervousness is there. Everybody's a little jolly. It's the holiday time, but man, what a great time of the year. The Irish are in prime position to just make every ND hater hate us even more. And you just can't ask for anything better. When we are good, I just love to see it, because I just love to see it. I love it.
Yeah. You know, man, it's, you got to enjoy this feeling, because it's good to matter. And this is good stress, right? Like, this is, you don't want to get to the end of the year, nobody cares about your games, and it's like watching a funeral, right? Where nothing, it's over. It doesn't matter what happens. If you win, it doesn't move the needle, whatever. That's lame. This is what it should feel like to be a Notre Dame person, where your game moves the national needle. It ain't just about you. What happens to us affects everything in that playoff bracket. Notre Dame matters. Everybody's got to admit it, and it's just the spot you want to be. It's Notre Dame against everybody.
Notre Dame against everybody, man. And God, it just, yeah, I don't know. It just feels good, and I'm relishing in it. This team is so fun to watch. We're aggressive. We're fast. We're violent. We have an attitude about us. When was the last time we've seen this? I mean, I never saw it in 12 years with Kelly. This is the first time I think that a Freeman team has turned that corner to be like, we're here to play. You can see it. You can feel it. I just want to see it keep going. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I was having a conversation with somebody last night, a Notre Dame friend, and I was saying to him, one of these Notre Dame coaches and groups of players has got to be the one to break through. And you know what I mean by breakthrough. You know, break through that ceiling, break that play, the big game drought, you know, with the bowl record thing, get us into the new playoff area, get a new playoff era, get us going. And like some modern Notre Dame coaching group of players got to be the ones to be able to break through this. And I want it to be this one. And the other thing is, I want this for Freeman. He's been through a lot, and it's all been very public. And some things behind the scenes that are not his fault, he had to take the shots for. And I respect him for towing the company line and doing the right thing. And like, I want this for him, but you got to go earn it. Like, I want this for Freeman, but he's got to go take it. Those boys got to go take it. Andrew's talking about the 2012 defense. The 2012 defense did have a good attitude. And when you had Manti back there, it was really, really fun to watch. But I just think this defense is deeper and way more athletic. You don't have a personality quite like Manti. But Andrew, you mentioned 2012. It does, before you joined the show, I mentioned there is a lot of synergy between that year and this year to finish in LA against a not great USC team with you having everything on the line, a good defense you're bringing to town. Andrew, you mentioned that when you joined. I agree with you. So that's where I'm at, caller. One of these Notre Dame teams has got to say enough is enough.
Exactly. And the 2012 team, you can point to that in terms of, yes, Manti had that attitude, but realistically, come on, secondary, linebackers, D-line, everywhere on that defensive side of the ball. They may not be the personalities of Manti's, but they sure do play like it. At every single level of that defense, we have got difference makers in there. And that's why I feel like we're seeing that difference. We're seeing the depth. We're seeing the speed. This year, this team is, you can't even compare it to 2012. We were not even close to where we are now. And man, it's just fun to see. It's fun to see.
Yeah, it really is. And you know what, man, you're always talking about like the future, what this could be like and where you're not good enough and what could be down the road or whatever. Like, forget down the road. There is no reason Notre Dame cannot make a run for this thing if you're going to play your good defense. Like, there is no dominant head and shoulders above everybody else team to be feared. Get in the tournament, play your good defense. We are not entering the USC game and maybe the playoff with me saying Notre Dame is 5-star. I'm comfortable with the offense, the defense, and special teams. This is the year where everything's where I want it and it's all great. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is play your good defense and you're going to be in every ball game and see what happens.
Get in the tournament, and whoever we match up with, like, good Lord, the side of the bracket, just based off of last night's predictions, obviously it's all going to change. But, man, that is a dream scenario on that side.
It is.
Us to have SMU in the first round, and then the other 3 teams over there is Miami, Penn State, and IU.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
If it aligns like that, and me and you've been talking about this for the past 2 to 3 weeks, if the seeding ends up falling in some type of manner like that, our mentality should be, why not us?
Yeah.
Why can't we win 2 of these things and get to those semis?
Yep.
You know?
Dude, if you catch a favorable 1-2 draw, that means that you need to win one more game and you're in the championship. Right? Like if you could catch a favorable bracket for round 1 and have the game at home and then round 2, favorable matchups, and you're able to do that, you need to find a way to win one more game against a good team and you're in the title game. Like, that's Notre Dame's runway, man. And so you could get a good draw and get that home game, and there you go. However, you got to beat USC first. I'm going to keep mentioning it. I'm not taking it for granted. That is a mistake. It's rat poison.
It is rat poison. The pit in the stomach isn't a nervousness in terms of, hey, we could lose this game. It's more of, hey, I just need to see this team go out one more time, assert themselves. You said it a few callers ago. Take their will out of it early. We have everything to play for. They have nothing to play for. Treat it like that for 60 minutes.
Yep.
And it's going to take care of itself. I really think so. Man, it's going to be a great weekend. And then guess what? If we do what we say we can do here, we chill next weekend and we just let everything else fall. We're in, home game, we're resting, we're good.
Yeah.
Get through this weekend and we are heading into the holiday season flying high. It couldn't be better.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I think this coach and this team have matured a lot. And I genuinely think a moment like this is where that shows, because you need to go out there really, really focused, avoid the noise, know what you're playing for. Like, this is a very serious moment. I feel like these guys are,
excellent point.
Yeah. Like, I want to believe this team is just built a little differently, and maybe I'm proven wrong, and maybe it's all just been inflated against lower competition, but I really do feel like they are trending up and playing with the confidence and a mentality that is going to prevent them from counting a win before they earn it out there. That's just what my gut tells me, but I've been wrong before, man. I've fallen for the Notre Dame thing before and been left at the altar miserable. So have all of us.
We've all fallen for it, but that's an excellent point. It almost seems like this is the last test. Like, this is the last little test for Freeman and this team in particular to be like, hey, we're turning that corner to get this thing where we've been talking about it where it needs to be. This kind of seems like that game to where we can kind of assert that a bit. Of course, that first round matchup it's all going to be heightened again, once we get to that point. But it just seems like this USC game is a critical point for this team this year, but also for Freeman moving forward. And man, it just seems like they are so locked in and ready.
Yeah.
That's why I think the fan base is starting to, show a little confidence in that again, which is just, God, it's so much fun.
Yeah, it is. Man, this is the moment we all wanted. This is the position we all, in August, when we were building up to A&M, talking about this year, this is the position we wanted to be in full and complete control of our destiny with a home game to play for at the end. Like, you're not sitting there going, if 5 other teams lose their last game, we could maybe maneuver in and then go to Georgia round 1 or something. Like, no, you are 1 away from reaching your goals. Northern Illinois be damned. Like, you're 1 away from your goals. You got to be laser focused and get this done. There's no way around it. Notre Dame wins because Notre Dame needs to win.
They do. Do you have any concerns about them going out there Friday? Doesn't that seem a little bit late to be playing at noon
Listen,
Pacific on Saturday?
Here's what I have a little anxiety about. There's just
why are we not going out early?
Going west is weird, man, and there's a weird history with just us going west. And you know what I feel? Whatever that chemical is, trichnoside or whatever that is in turkeys that makes you tired, that everybody talks about, like that chemical in turkey, it just feels like a sluggish kind of weekend where everybody's dragging ass and their schedule's all messed up and everybody's on the couch. It just feels like a sluggish weekend, and you got to go out there and play. And Goolsby talks about this. Because there's never any fans and it's a weird dump building, he says that field feels like it's 65 yards across wide. And he doesn't know why, but when you play there, he says it just feels like it goes forever because it's so open and like there's just it's just weird out there. I don't like California. I just don't like it. I don't like the people. I don't like it. The whole state makes me uncomfortable. I don't like California.
It's a dump.
I don't like it.
Oh, man. All right, John. Well, I'm going to let you get to it, man. Really appreciate all your time over these past few weeks.
Hey, God, listen.
We need to talk to each other.
God bless you and the family, man. You guys enjoy your Thanksgiving dinner and let's get ready for this and call me to celebrate if it goes well or call me to blame me if it goes bad. Okay, whatever.
I'll call you Friday and Saturday. We'll chat.
There you go. Have a good one. Take care. Yeah, I know California has nice golf courses. That doesn't undo everything else. Kent Jackson, I hate to be that person. No, you don't. You make a living here being that person. Don't be shy now. But the level of competition matters. Granted, Notre Dame has took care of business, but let's look through the scoreboards and how they look playing elite competition. Listen, John don't belong in Watts. I think with this chain, I could get by. I don't know. Listen, here's the deal. Nobody's going to, I'm not going to act like Notre Dame's been playing Georgia and Texas and Oregon every week. I'm not acting like we're playing Ohio State 4 games in a row. I understand the competition is what it is. Kent, I'm also going to vouch for Notre Dame and throw it in there again that it's not our fault. We tried scheduling brand name. They just weren't any good. And Miami backed out of the ball game. Kent, we played Army instead of Miami. Imagine Notre Dame, Miami in the slot Notre Dame Army was. It was supposed to be Miami and they backed out. It's not my fault Florida State's no good. It's not my fault USC has a handful of losses, bro. But this would be my biggest fear, Kent. I'm man enough to admit it. My biggest fear would be that we're feeling ourselves, and then you learn the hard way. It was just because you're playing lower competition. That is my biggest fear about all this ends, is that you're just in for some rude awakening, and you had a weird year where you played 9 games in a row, and you just realized that's why you were dominating, kicking the crap out of everybody, 390-something to 90 points in the last 9 weeks or whatever. That is my biggest fear, and I'm open about. I'm an open book with you guys with this stuff. That is the biggest fear, Kent. Is that you realize that is a mirage and it's artificially inflated big time. That's the biggest fear. But there's a lot in the Notre Dame media and fan base that feel like this team's personality is different and that they're wired differently and that there's a little edge to them that we don't usually see, that they're trending up and peaking at the right time in a way a lot of Notre Dame teams fade down the stretch or barely get by. It feels like they're trending up. So you want to say it's different because you think you feel that. We're going to find out. We're going to find out real quick. We're going to find out. Here's one thing I am going to say, though, Ken. Confidence is real. Confidence is a real thing. And I find value in that. Even if you're playing a schedule that doesn't excite anybody the last 9 weeks or whatever, confidence you gain as a team because you're kicking the crap out of everybody starts to build and it starts to really matter. That is one of the problems I had with what Michigan did, you guys. One of the problems I had with what Michigan did was They gained all this artificial confidence with the Connor Stallions cheating, where they knew what every play was going to do for a couple years, gained all that confidence. Then when they had to stop doing it, they're like, all of our wins are legit. And I'm arguing you gained multiple years of confidence as a program, kicking the crap out of everybody because you knew what plays were coming. Now you get to ride off that confidence just because you're not doing the sign thing anymore. Doesn't mean you haven't artificially benefited illegally from this. The confidence is that's what I'm arguing is the confidence gained from all this ass kickings real, even if you're not playing a good team? I don't know, but that's my biggest fear, Kent. You got me. That would be it, that you realized the hard way this was a mirage. 562. I got Tom, Chicago's very own, coming up after that. 562, we're talking to you. Good morning.
Hey, John. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, I'm this is big time stuff for Notre Dame, my friend. What do you make of all this?
Well, I tell you, I'm as a veteran of watching SC Notre Dame games at the Coliseum since 1953, when I was 11 years old. I've learned some things, and a couple of things you got to watch out for. One of them is the officiating.
Yep.
Over the years, we've gotten jobbed a few times, and it's something I really watch out for. And I was wondering where these referees are from. Are they from the SEC or?
I believe since SC is in the Big Ten, it would be Big Ten referees, I assume. So you're going out to.
That's right there in the Big Ten.
Yep. And so you're going out to LA, and you got Big Ten refs cooking up Thanksgiving dinner out there. I don't like it. You can't leave it in their hands.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't leave it in their hands. You got to get ahead by enough that one or two calls doesn't screw you.
And another thing is, several times when SC's been down, they tend to play over their heads, and that's what you got to watch out for. But I think that with Marcus having them super incentivized for a top effort, I think they'll be okay. Because they've been trending up, crazily.
Yeah. Okay. Now let me ask you this though. You're a Coliseum veteran. I want to know, why does it just feel like that place is sometimes a weird place to play, or Notre Dame just can't get it in gear out there? Is it the travel? Is it something about the building? Like, what is it about that Coliseum that we have kind of an interesting, weird, unreliable history with over the big picture? What is it?
Things bad have happened to us, but super things have also happened, like the 66 game, and even the ones that didn't count for anything, like 1960. I was there. That was a rain game, 17-0. We beat them. They shut them out, and that was really something, because as it started to rain, people from the SC side were giving away their tickets. They're just going home. And that's the kind of fan base they were.
Yeah, it's man. And you know what I wonder is just, I wonder, what do you got to do to get them to check out? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm wondering. Like, what do you got to do to get them to be like, it's the last game, we have a five losses, I don't need this. Like, what like how good does Notre Dame have to, you can't give them hope, man. If you give them hope, I've seen USC teams get hot off that. You can't give them the hope they're going to ruin all this for Notre Dame early. You got to go out and get ahead early, I think.
But I think we have it over them for the motivation that Marcus will have them. He'll have them super high, I think. Just like last week with the Army.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot more to play for.
Yeah, it's
I think that'll come through.
Listen,
the way they play.
You've seen a lot of Notre Dame football and a lot of Notre Dame teams, and I appreciate, some of my callers that have some age to them that have seen more than I have. Do you agree with the leadership and that this team is peaking at the right time and seems to have a different gear and are playing more physical, and the coach and the team seem to have grown well together over the course of the year? Do you see all that too, or are we just getting overinflated because the teams are not that good we've been beating? What do you think the reality is?
I see that. I see that too, because the way they played, regardless of who's on the other side of the line, if you're super motivated, you're going to kick the ass of anybody, whether they think they're good or whether they're bad.
Yeah.
and it depends. It's a mental thing, and if he's got him at a pitch fever, which I think he does, and I think we'll pick up on that. And I predict a win.
Yeah, it's this is a big moment, and you can reach your goals here with the big win out in LA. I think I see no scenario where this Notre Dame defense lets the team down. I think they are the heartbeat and the engine of the program, have been for a long time. They're the heartbeat of this team. I see no scenario where they go to LA and decide not to play physical, crisp football. I think our defense will be ready. The offense makes me a little nervous every week, quite frankly, but I have confidence that defense is going to be ready to play.
I'm even going to go so far as to have a rosary around my neck during the game.
Telling you, man, you got to do. Everybody's got their little Irish routine. You got to do what you got to do. I want this win for Marcus Freeman. He's been through a lot in 3 years. Some of it his doing, some of it not. It's just been a very public, rough 3-year learning ramp here. And I'd love to see that man rewarded, but they have to earn it and they have to go take it. It's not going to be given to him.
I agree with you. I believe that's going to come through. And we'll really enjoy Saturday evening.
Yeah.
And so I want to wish happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody else, all the fans out there, and go Irish.
Hey, I really appreciate that, man. Happy Thanksgiving, and God bless you. And we need more people like you representing our Irish values out west and doing all you can on behalf of Notre Dame. God bless you, man. Have a good Thanksgiving dinner and enjoy the ball game. Thank you for the call.
Thanks, John.
Have a good one. Man, I got some great callers. You never know what you're going to get. Texas Mac, don't keep up with USC. If they were always in the game and passing was good, why did they change QBs? Did he get hurt? It just seemed like that dude played great against Brian Kelly and then fell off after. Texas Mac. It just felt like he literally maxed out against Brian Kelly week 1, and then that guy started getting in his own head. And then the offense just wasn't operating that good. And then they were losing games. And then he was in it. He was like a head case. He was getting that Miller Moss was getting in his own. He opened up looking great against Brian Kelly. And then he literally turned into a head case, man. It just looked like he was losing it. And then they had to make a change. He was just like questioning everything and just uncomfortable, and turnovers, and just like, it's just, they needed something different to change the vibe. So that's what he was like, got into his own head, man. And they needed to make a change because it was just not doable for them to win games the way they were doing it. Jose, $5. John's daughter will get a full ride scholarship to Michigan. Dude, that would be a rough scenario for me. Could you imagine? As a dad, how much money you would save and how happy you would be, like, genuinely, if your kid did that and like a Michigan degree, it's not Notre Dame, but it would be like a good whatever, and it's all free and paid for, and then dad's going to be down in the basement. You're not allowed to do that. And the other problem is you got a girl that's in college and goes to like Michigan, and she's not like horribly unattractive. She could meet a Michigan guy and get married, and then your whole stupid family falls apart. Anyways. Chicago's very own Tom Frawley. Welcome to the show.
Well, happy Thanksgiving Eve to one and all. I want to talk a little bit about the USC game and the Coliseum. I've been there 5 times. My first trip out to the Coliseum was 1986, Holtz's first year. And if everybody remembers that game, it was Notre Dame was getting pounded. They were losing 37-12, and they hung in there. Steve Berline all of a sudden started throwing smoke passes to Tim Brown and Andy Heck, who was a tight end at the time. He caught the game-winning touchdown before Holtz moved into tackle. That was the year that they turned it around, and that's when that team started to believe in themselves. And 2 years later, they won the national championship. And then I was at that game in '88 when they beat them 27-10. There's funky things that happen in that Coliseum. The phantom fumble in 1982 on the goal line. the running back from USC fumbled on the 2-yard line, but went over the end zone, and they called it a touchdown. And that was the precursor that I'm taking over the game. And that was a sick call. There was a bad one. There was a pass interference call on Notre Dame in 1978 when Joe Montana brought them back, and they 2 minutes left, or $1:43 left in the game. Montana throws the go-ahead touchdown, and Notre Dame is stopping them, and they get a terrible spot foul, pass interference, and it was nowhere near pass interference, and it set up the game.
Now wait. Now let me ask this: is it true that it's going to be ACC officials? Some people were putting in the chat it would be.
I haven't.
They said it would.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, they said it would be. They said, John, it would be the away teams conferences officials. So that would not be the Big Ten. It would be the ACC.
No, it wouldn't be.
It would be the ACC.
Yeah, that kind of concerns me because they've been piss poor all year long, and not just in the Notre Dame game.
But would that concern you more than if it was Big Ten officials from their conference? Like, I almost hate that even more. Or do you think that they're a higher? Do you think they're a higher quality of referee?
I'd rather have the Big Ten.
Okay.
I'd rather have the Big Ten officials, because the other ACC games that I've watched this year, and I've watched quite a few of them because of the common Notre Dame opponents, they're just piss poor calls. That Clemson. There's a Clemson Georgia Tech game, terrible. This Clemson Syracuse game, terrible. Just some horrific officiating.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're doing in the ACC. I guess it's a complaint countrywide. There's nothing we can do about it. Like you say, they just have to play their game. Now, to that point, I think Notre Dame is going to line up in that 21 personnel with the two backs in the backfield and the one tight end shift, and they have the wide receivers, one in the slot, one out wide. And then they'll run RPO. You'll see more RPO and play action fake on the passing game. You got to pound the rock. They got to get Jeremiah Love on the perimeter and run Jardinian Price in between the tackles because he's so twitchy. From what I could see, the Achilles heel of USC is their offensive line. So we got to pressure that quarterback. He's a good athlete. He's a big kid. He's 6'4", 220. He's got a pretty good arm. I don't think he's as mobile as people are making him out to be. He's kind of slow-footed, and he has a tendency to throw across his chest. He'll throw behind a receiver a lot. I think our Xavier Watts is going to pick off maybe one or two passes.
Do you expect, let me ask this, Tom, do you expect them to try and run the ball and protect that quarterback a little bit and see if they can try and run the ball on Notre Dame north-south a little bit rather
Absolutely.
than – okay, and I was wondering, do you think they're going to do that, or is it straight-up gunslinging, let Maeva throw the ball around, and that's just what we're going to do? It just occurs to me it might be wise with that kind of quarterback to see if you can make it easier on him by trying to run it first before you rely on him throwing it around. And if so, the bigger question, Tom, is if so, how do you think Notre Dame's going to handle that defensively?
Well, I think pressure. I think Al Golden will dial up pressure on this guy. And now that means Riley Mills and Rubio have to have great games inside, and Bryce Young and Burnham on the outside taking care of contain. If they can maintain and get penetration, our linebackers will come in and sweep up. Our corners will do well, shut them down. That's the way I see it. Now, what I saw against UCLA, when they played UCLA, that UCLA was winning 13-9 at one point. And then this kid started throwing darts right down the middle of the field. He's got a good arm. I mean, some of those receivers, and I started thinking, they were playing that soft cover 2 zone. And I think Notre Dame has to play man defense, which they will, and zero blitzing. And I just trust Al Golden more than I trust any other defensive coordinator Notre Dame has had since Barry Alvarez was Holtz's defensive coordinator, and that's the odds honest truth.
Yeah, listen, there's no scenario where this Notre Dame defense should let this guy shred them up and make them look stupid. Like, this defense is too advanced. They should be too advanced for that to be the problem. I'm looking at it the other way, where I think Uncle Al is in the lab right now, figuring out ways to be able to bait this guy to throw Watts and Schuler the ball a couple of times. Like I'm looking at it that way, where Notre Dame thinks they're going to have an advantage and they can confuse this kid. And I've been saying, Tom, the biggest mismatch in this game should be up front. I don't think that these guys over 4 quarters are going to hang with Notre Dame up front on both sides. And I think that's going to show. And that will affect them wanting to throw the ball down the field or whatever, cause some damage back there.
Yeah, and I think you'll see some Marcus Freeman violence from the offensive line, too. I really do.
Yeah.
One thing about USC, they look a lot like Notre Dame as far as the size of their athletes and the amount of athletes. Why they had a crappy season is beyond me. There's too much talent on that squad. Yeah. I don't know if Lincoln Riley is the answer. I mean, he went to the pros to get his defensive coordinator, and that was their Achilles heel last year.
It's very interesting, man. It's the way they've, Tom, I'm of two mindsets. You look at their record on the surface and you go 5 losses. Well, this USC team's garbage. When you dig into it and you learn that they were winning in the 4th quarter in each of those games and all of the losses were by 1 possession, does that make you, what is the takeaway from that? What should a Notre Dame fan take out of that? I'm struggling with it. What does that indicate?
What's the old line from Glenn Ross? Coffee's for closers only, baby. If they don't know how to close, then Notre Dame's got to shut the door on them with violence. Like you said, They got to come in there with absolute precision and knock them out as soon as they possibly can and make sure that they know that they're beat.
Yeah.
And then sends a message to the rest of the naysayers, all these national pundits that piss on Notre Dame continually, won't give them the respect they deserve. So that's fine. I love that underdog role.
Yeah.
It's more motivation because, these kids on the team, they look at social media. Let's face facts. They read, they know what's going on, and they don't need any more bulletin board material. They've got plenty. They see it every week from these so-called experts. And you know what, John? A lot of their takes on Notre Dame is lazy journalism. They don't know the team like we know the team, which is great. Let them pass that narrative. Let them keep spreading that cancer amongst the rest, and hopefully it filters into the opponents that Notre Dame is going to play. It all comes back. It all favors us.
Yeah. Yep. That's how I see it too, Tom. I want to believe that this team's wired differently and that there's this maturity that's happened in a blend of this young coach and this team where they are on a vibe right now and they got it rolling right now. And I feel that. And I need it to be proven right. And you got to win this game to prove that is real and not just pumped up by the bad teams we're playing. But I believe it, Tom. This team looks like they're wired different, and that young coach and his players seem to be really, really in sync right now.
Absolutely. So I got a quick story, and I'm going to get out of here. So the last time I was at the Coliseum, it wasn't the last time. This was the game in 1992, and it was a great game. Brooks and Bettis ran wild. Long story short, before the game, I'm walking across the street to the Coliseum, and there's 200 people waiting across the street and no traffic coming. So me and my buddies from Chicago, we just walked through the light. There's a copper on the other side. He wanted to pinch us for jaywalking. I looked at this guy. I says, "Are you nuts? You're 2 blocks away from South Central. You got kids killing each other with Uzis, and you're going to give us a ticket for jaywalking?" I said, "Go screw yourself." We kept walking, walked right into the game, took the Coliseum over. They beat them that day. And coming out that same day, we're walking by a tailgater of the wine and cheese crowd. Who's sitting there? but Father Hesburgh and Father Joyce, we said hello to them. They invited us over to the tailgate. We had a couple of cocktails with Father Joyce and Father Hesburgh. That was fantastic.
Man, what a story. That's a very well-rounded story there, Tom. I love it. Hey, listen, man. Yeah. Tom, God bless you, man. You're Chicago's very own. Notre Dame is in your soul. I love you for it. I hope you and the family have a relaxing Thanksgiving, be able to kind of take the calm before the storm, enjoy a good meal. Don't let the Bears ruin it for you tomorrow. Don't let them ruin it.
Oh, I'm not. You know, I gave up on the Bears a long time ago because of that McCaskey family and all their mismanagement. You know what? I'll watch the game. I'm actually rooting for Detroit because I like that coach, and I hope they win. Caleb Williams, fun watch. He had a great game last week. You know, God bless him. He's fun to watch it, but yeah. I'm not a Bears fan like I used to be. But I can't support that trash anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's Tom. That's a lot of football weight to carry every weekend on a Saturday and a Sunday, man. That's a lot of stress.
You know what? And I get it, but the whole mishmash. You're going to Soldier Field. It's a pain in the ass to get there.
Yeah.
The tailgating is wrong. You know, if you got to go to McCormick Place and tailgate, it's a mile away from the stadium.
Yeah.
You know, it's just. Everything about it is just
You're right. You're right. You're totally right. Just getting in and out of the place alone is a nightmare that makes me never want to go again. The last few games I went to, I got there by L train because I refused to drive and park and get in and out and do all that. I'm not doing it. Nope.
Listen, I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for the Always Irish community. I'm thankful for we gained health this year, and I'm thankful to be a Notre Dame fan. So happy Thanksgiving to you, yours, Pat Cotter, and the whole crew, and all the fans. God bless.
What a good blessing, Tom. Thank you very much, man. That is Chicago's very own. That dude bleeds Notre Dame. It's so genuine. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. 949, you're going to wrap us up today on a Wednesday. What's going on?
Oh, you know, back in Cali, John. About to be drinking the tears of these USC fans on Saturday evening. You know, I'm glad he brought that up. I don't know why he didn't bring up the USC. Tom, great caller, by the way. But USC fan, you know, I lived on the West Coast for a long time, so I don't have that Michigan bias of them being terrible. But USC fans are the worst fans ever, dude. Terrible fans.
I look at it, dude.
No respect for that college, John.
Yeah. I don't even look at them as a real fan base because they're fair weather, man. I know Roger Dodger's in the chat every day and loves USC, but I'm telling you, in my opinion, most of those people, when they're good, they hop on it because it's something to do in LA and a place to be seen and something to do. And when they're bad, they check out and go surf. And then when they're good, they come back and act like they're there the whole time. I don't respect them. They're part-time fans. I don't respect that.
They're terrible. Absolutely. They're all right. So I went to a game in 2016. Last time I went to the Coliseum.
Ooh.
Probably last time ever.
Ooh.
We're sitting there, and it was during our terrible year with Kelly, right? That 4-8 season.
Yeah.
And we got crapped on by Sam Darnold, and so me and my dad are sitting there, right? And then this like 65-year-old dude is sitting behind us with his, you know, his buddy or whatever. And you know, we're rooting for ND. You know, we're keeping it casual. We're not yelling at him. And then this guy starts barking at us, you know, once we get up. And then the guy's got the audacity to start throwing sunflower seeds on me and my dad. And my dad's like, hey, we're not going to start fighting here. Just ignore him. Because, you know, I'm a passionate person. You know, we're from Chicago, so we still have some passion. But he said, keep it cool. Let's just get the hell out of here. We're not going to get in a fight or anything. And we'll just be on our way. But that's my story about SC. Hate them. I feel like, I don't know if you've already discussed this or not. I came in a little bit late, but I feel like if we beat the crap out of SC, I feel like we should hop over Penn State in the final.
I'm seeing that argument. I'm seeing that argument gain momentum. Who is it? Nicole Auerbach, one of the national college football writers. She has been on that. She put out a tweet saying, I'm surprised Notre Dame has not jumped them. What was it? An overtime 3-point win against USC. If Notre Dame were to beat them more convincingly, is there an argument there, for Notre Dame to jump them? I think their biggest win now would be over ranked, but 3-loss Illinois, I believe, maybe their best win. And they obviously do have a better loss than ours, though. You can't argue that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they got a better loss, but Jesus, dude, their offense couldn't even put up 7.
Yeah.
Their defense had to put up 7 against Ohio State.
Yeah.
I know Ohio State's got a great defense, but you're talking about putting that kind of product in the college football playoffs.
It's
at least our offense. Our offense hasn't gone against the best competition either, but I mean, we're averaging over 250 yards a game rushing. I mean, I don't care who you're playing. That's with the true freshman at left tackle and all the injuries in the middle. That's impressive.
So, okay, let me ask this. You were talking about no matter who you're playing, whatever. So I want to ask, are you buying in? Like you don't think that we're just seeing what we're seeing and it looks pretty good because of the lower competition and we haven't played anybody great in a while? Or are you believing that this team and this coach really are different this time and they're going to seal the deal? What do you think the reality is?
I think it took me about 4 or 5 games before I started believing again. Even the Louisville game, I was kind of like, I forget. I think we were up by a couple touchdowns, right? And then Louisville kind of started coming back. I believe that's how it was. So I don't think the score kind of indicates how the game really went.
Yeah.
It definitely took a while. I feel like I'm starting to believe, especially after the Army game. I mean, you have people that kind of had Army's the number 1 rushing team in the nation. The number 1 score, huge scoring offense.
How did that go?
Best defense. And then you make them eat dirt for 4 quarters. So,
but man, I'm sorry, dude, but I'm looking at their stats and it's like they had the number 2 ranked defense, the number 1 ranked rushing offense, all this stuff. And then I look it up. You're playing Lehigh. You're playing North Texas. You're playing Rice. I can't judge that the same way. Yes, I'm going live Friday, by the way. I realize maybe a lot of people are off Friday morning for the holidays. So maybe I'm going to do my Friday morning at the normal time. And maybe we'll catch some more people that are off on a Friday. They usually can't join. So yeah, I'll be live normal time Friday.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But you know what? I called you about, I think it was 2 months ago or something. I forget after what game, but we gave up a lot of rushing yards. And I was nervous about Navy and Army. I was like, dude, we're probably going to lose those teams just because, Boothby was saying, we're very open to the run game, giving up a lot of lanes and all this stuff. But, give it to the coaching staff on that defensive side, man. They've tightened the ship. And they got those boys playing physical too, man.
Yeah,
they got linebackers. They got young linebackers that just want to throttle on you, man, and just give you 110% every play. And it's fun to watch.
It really is a joy to watch.
Fun to watch
it is.
Like that.
I just see no scenario where Notre Dame's defense is not properly prepared for this moment. I just don't see it in the cards. I think they're playing too well. They have too much confidence. They have gelled too much. I do not see a scenario where they let everybody down. And so I think this is a big game. It's a big moment for Freeman. I want this. People were saying that it was BS that I said I want this for Freeman and that I want it for myself. Obviously, I want it for myself. I want it for the fan base. I want it for the students. We all deserve something good. The media that covers a Notre Dame team that hasn't won anything in 3 decades, everybody deserves something good. But I do want it for Marcus. He is. It hasn't been easy. So I would like to see that guy succeed, but it's not. I don't want it given to him. You got to go earn it. You have one more hurdle to check off, the first box on this year, making the playoff, get a home game. So I want it for them, but they got to earn it.
And to piggyback off that too, the kids could have given up on Marcus right after that loss. Kind of like how it seems like the team's given up on Brian Kelly. You lose one, and then now you lose like 3 in a row. It doesn't seem like the confidence is there. He hasn't had an easy schedule either. I get that, but either way, I mean, these kids could have given up too after the NIU game. But Marcus and the staff have given the message of, hey, we know where we should be. That game was BS, but we need to keep pushing, and whatever they say. But they're not just beating teams. I mean, they're making teams give up, man.
Yeah.
And there was a guy I watch on 1 or on 3 sometimes, and there's a guy saying, if we thought this Notre Dame team was mediocre, we would have seen another NIU game along the way somewhere, and we haven't. We have. I mean, what was that? Virginia. It was kind of a couple slow starts, but third quarter, you look back up at the scoreboard, it's like 35-7. Defense has got like 4 turnovers.
Yeah, they're doing, and
offense is rushing for 200 yards.
I don't think I realized until I read this week that Notre Dame was number 1 in the country by far in turnovers caused. I don't think that stat hit me. And then I saw it out there. They're number 1 with, I think it's 26, some number, like they got a lot of things going for them, man. They got a lot of things going for them. But when you got that coach talk about chasing, trying to be perfect and talking about violence, you're talking Johnny Boy's language, because those are things that my main man, Frank Leahy, and the Fighting Irish used to talk about, is Notre Dame being perfect and playing with violence. I absolutely love it.
Dude, and in my lifetime, I this is way, by far better than the 2012 defense. I have never seen a Notre Dame defense play like this in consecutive seasons. I mean, they might have been a little bit of a drop off, or a little not as good last year, but man, I mean, they've got it dialed in this year. And this is, and mind you, this is even with all of our starters in there too.
Yeah.
And the way that they have the seconds ready to go in like this.
Yep.
And not just juniors or seniors to back them up. These are true freshmen that are coming in to back up these starters too. And they are playing lights out, man. Great recruiting from the staff so far, man. I am excited for the future, and it's just, I think Notre Dame's in a really good state right now.
Yeah. Yep.
That's, I think, in a long time.
I agree. So let's wrap it up, finish it up, get one more win, and then we have a few weeks to really talk about a different level of potential accomplishment. But first things first is you got to win one more ball game. Hey, really appreciate the call, my man, and have a good Thanksgiving. Try and relax, and touch base with me on Friday.
Yeah, appreciate the time, John. Happy Thanksgiving to you, man.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Go Irish.
Have a good one. Go Irish. So Just Me says the team's flying to LA on Friday. Should we be concerned it's an early start Saturday? Here's my response to that. My response to that is, with all the technology and all of the resources and everything that Notre Dame invests into all this modern scientific body stuff, where they measure your heart rate and your maximum this and how much you run that, and they can hook them up and know when they're healthy what their maximum speed of running is, and if they're 70%, here's where it drops, like all this stuff. Somebody around the Notre Dame program has had to figure out what minimizes jet lag or lack of sleep or grogginess with travel out to the West Coast. Somebody got to know. Somebody's got to know. Like, you can't just, this isn't the 60s, man, where you just board a train or a bus or a rickety plane and fly somewhere and do whatever. Somebody's got to have the science down to where, follow the science. Somebody's got to have the science enough to know what will maximize the output you're going to get and minimize travel and early morning on the West Coast and all that. Somebody's got to figure it out. And I don't want to hear, well, it's a holiday and whatever, so we're going to do whatever. No. I don't even like the concept of, are you messing up what all these guys are used to eating every week because now you're eating turkey all the time? I'm just telling you, Notre Dame has every resource available to them in the world. Somebody needs to have figured out how to minimize the tax on the body and the mind going out there. Somebody's got to figure it out. But I'm not worried about I got asked last night by somebody about the day game, night game stuff, whatever. I don't really have a big feeling on that. Selfishly, I want to figure out what this is going to be and get it going so I'm not pacing around all day chugging Pepto-Bismol. I don't mind having it in the afternoon so we could get it going. And on a very, very selfish level, that means I don't have to be up till 4 a.m. doing work. On a night game, it ends up being 3:30 to 4 is when I get to bed after a night game. So at least the afternoon window selfishly eliminates that problem for me. But I'm just saying somebody's got to figure this out and maximize it. And but this Notre Dame defense is going to be ready. Now, here's the deal for tomorrow, you guys. It is a holiday. Everybody knows it's a holiday. The schedule is weird or whatever. I am still putting out my pregame show. I usually do the Thursday preview or whatever. This is a very special and a very unique one for obvious reasons. I am still putting that out in the morning. So when you're driving to Granny's house or you're cooking a turkey or before you blow one up in your driveway, dumping it in that hot oil or whatever, put it on and listen to it, when you're driving or traveling or whatever, you have some time to be able to check this out because it's unique and it's a little different. It's unique and it's a little different because of what's on the line here. Friday morning, I'm hoping we have a really good turnout. We'll have a bunch of people that don't have to work on Friday because of the holiday. Maybe they could join us. And no commitment, but depending on what my family stuff looks like and the interest, I could entertain a Friday night call-in show, late night Friday night. We haven't done one of those in a while on a Friday night. Maybe if there's interest, we entertain taking last-minute calls late on a Friday night with the anxiety and everybody being up and kind of worked up about it. So I don't know, but happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Safe travels. I've told you guys this story before. When I was in, I think, fourth, we got in a head-on collision on Thanksgiving morning going to Chicago. Totally got in a head-on collision. My aunt ended up never fully recovering from it and dying. Parents in the hospital. Like, I thought my mom was dead. I got weird memories on Thanksgiving. I don't like doing a lot of driving. I like staying home to avoid that. Everybody's heard that story before. Happy Thanksgiving, John. Head-on collision. You're sideways in a ditch with your car on fire. And I thought my family was dead. In case anybody wonders why I'm messed up, anybody think maybe that's why? Maybe that's why I'm messed up. I'll never forget it, man. Sideways in that ditch. People are knocked out. You don't know whether they're dead or not. It was a rough Thanksgiving morning. I never got any turkey either. Never got any turkey. Oh, don't feel bad for me. I'm fine. But it was very rough. It was very, very rough. Johnny, you have had some trauma in this world. I guess I have. You know what, though? Everybody's got their stuff they carry with them. Everybody's got their stuff. But that is a bad Thanksgiving memory. It was not ideal. All right, everybody. God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving.